of my place, but I stay in my zone. Look me right in my face, she can see through my soul. I said don't think about it, I said don't think about it. She take me out of my place, but I stay in my zone. Look me right in my face, she can see through my soul. I said don't think about it, I said don't think about it.
Your reflection in my wine glass, that's when I look away. Can't stand and think about losing your fine ass. How the fuck I let you slip away? Life for the party, but I'm dead inside. Kill my vibes, it was genocide. Hard to act like I've been alive. I'm trying to find where I identify. One time for the girl that got away. 2 times for the bub I'm about to spray. 3 times for the power that I pray to. Are you up there? Can you hear me? I know I fucked up, it's clear, see. I'm 22 but I don't act like it clearly. And all this shit is a mirage. I'm just rapping for a cause. The life, the fame, the life's the game. We break the laws, don't like to change. Wanna win you back, but I hate to lose. I know that you're the one, but it's hard to choose.
Keep on slipping out. I said I don't believe that you just passed that off the couch. 'Cause I've been nothing but good to you,
And I ain't done the same, girl.
Too much whiskey in my red cup. Remember first day you wouldn't give it up. We had only scratched the surface, but I knew that you were worth it. Yeah, so I was patient. I bragged to my niggas, Joe Namath. I'm still with the niggas that I came with, but everything changed once the fame hit. Make it up, take you down, have a shot, I bought a round, play my songs, you like the sound. It's going down, it's going down. Let's drink coffee, watch passerbys, and prove to you I'm not the average guy. It's just my flaws that they magnify, and when it's real, you don't have to try.
keep on slipping out. I said I don't believe that you just passed that off the couch. 'Cause I've been nothing but good to you,
And I ain't done the same, girl.
I wish there was another way. Tomorrow is another day. Drugs take the pain away. Sometimes I wanna run away. I wish there was another way. Tomorrow is another day. Drugs take the pain away. Sometimes I wanna run away.
And I ain't done the same, girl.
See, I don't know you at all, but I'm bout it. If you bout it, don't give a fuck if you're involved. 'Cause I'm bout it. If you bout it, yeah. Don't act like you are doing a favor, but honestly, I swear you're my savior, girl. And I don't know if I'll see you later, so I'm bout it. If you bout it, yeah. My head has been spinning, I might need a minute. I've been dying to kick it, so just come with if you with it. And this game that we're playing, you want me but won't say it. If I told you I'm leaving, you would be so devastated. Oh, and I don't want no bullshit excuse, like you ain't got no time for me, as if that shit was true. Just tell me how it is, how you want it. If you're down, wanna summit, I got plans and you're one of them. Not trying to pretend. See, I don't know you at all, but I'm bout it. If you bout it, give a fuck if you're involved, cause I'm bout it if you bout it. Don't act like you are doing a favor, but honestly I swear you're my savior. And I don't know if I'll see you later, so I'm bout it if you bout it, yeah.
Hold up, did you really think I'm bout it? Say she wanna leave, but it's way too crowded. But I'll ride with you, I'm playing games, I ain't trying to lose. And if I take you back, I'ma kiss your neck. I could be your now, I could be your next. I could be the one to relieve your stress. When we talk about sex, she unzip that dress. Bless, maybe one day I could take it. Give it to me, cause I'm tired of waiting. I'm like the latest, #1 play on your playlist. Don't trip if these other girls play it. And I don't like to fight, you're the type that I'd like to wipe. Guy feeling like life is nice. At the movies eating Mike and Ike's. And if the price is right, then I guess I'm bout it.
See, I don't know you at all, but I'm bout it if you bout it. Don't give a fuck if you're involved, cause I'm bout it if you bout it. Don't act like you are doing a favor, but honestly I swear you're my savior. And I don't know if I'll see you later, so I'm bout it if you bout it, yeah.
Champagne for breakfast, first things first, never put you second, girl. Don't be stressing, I forgot to mention I'm bout it, don't be offended. I fought with you cause you're down to earth. Got an ounce of perth if you're down to burn. You got a plan and you're still in school, or you got a man, but that shit is cool, right? And if you'd like, you can stay for the night. Don't stay for the love, don't stay for the life. Know my name, then say it to me twice. Let me hear that shit, let me see that shit. You got a plan and you're still in school, or you got a man, but that shit is cool, right? And if you'd like, you can stay for the night. Don't stay for the love, don't stay for the life. Know my name, then say it to me twice. Could be the one if you wanted to. Or you got games, you could keep that shit, girl. Come and let me know what you wanna do.
Be who you wanna be. I will not blame you. Do what you wanna do. Don't wanna play you. If you would come with me, then I would take you anywhere you want to go. Yeah. Even if you're looking for the one, and I couldn't be him, you'd be sure to see in that I won't just go and take home anyone. I'm about you, girl. See, I don't know you at all.
Yo, think they starting to follow me. So A is to attempt to be the change you wanna see, and D is to be different. But tell us what you mean. Like, are you one of them good guys, or you one of us fiends? Either way, you gotta eat. Elevate your mind right, cause F is for the fine life, and that's how you define life. But I say G is get back to your home, and H is help the people that done help to along. Oh yeah, fuck it, we gon' back to F, cause that's for freedom. G is keep your good thoughts, cause buddy, you gon' need them. And H is if your hood stars, buddy, you gon' feed them. Cause it's bad enough when niggas get the check and get to leaving. J is for them jump offs we wanted as kids, looking through the glass, seeing the life we wanna live in. M is more money, more problems, and N-O is no P's, and that's pessimistic profits. Q, quit thinking, and R, you still with me, and S is stress less, and T is to infinity. U is that it's all about you, and that's why a nigga fucked around and left out I. VW is very wise, and X is this exam, but why lie? You got zip if you ain't got fam, and that's the alphabet.
Surviving for so long, I know that good things will come. I've been trying for so long, been surviving for so long, I know that good things will come, they will come. Trying for so long, been surviving for so long, they will come. Trying for so long.
Y'all, that's why you gotta make love, make peace, make noise, make art. Let me get a soul clap. Can I get a soul clap? Let me get a soul clap. Can I get a soul clap? Soul clap for me.
Let's get rich and give everybody nice sweaters and teach them how to dance. Let's get rich and build a house on a mountain, making everybody look like ants. From way up there, you and I, you and I.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get rich and give everybody nice
try to tell him, Bo. I try to tell him, Bo. Let's get it. I got you on what? Yes. One time. My homie selling chronic when my partner's pushing property. My DJ making him sandwiches so that he can rock with me. Mom grading overtime, underappreciated. Damn, I feel the pain. Know that it's under alleviated. Feel like I'm under a microscope. Dopify my particles. So you'll see me pop up in little critical articles talking about who's the next to the best of beaming with that potential. Y'all pretending to like me is boosting my credentials. Had introductions with fancy. I've been acquainted with lavish and learned that wanting is haunted. We used to know you don't have it. I want bucks like in Tampa. Never lower my standards. That's why I still got my eye on this little thing from Atlanta. I'm getting better, baby. Nothing is new. And if you tell me that you fuck with me, I fuck with you too. I got the goods for you haters. I just stick to the roots. And when the mountains blow, blow the silver bullet and shoot. I'm like. Round two, man. Scotty always keep your head up. Know the universe is rooting for us. It's all the days we fed up that'll never let us let up. Working graveyard shifts to reach the top of.
Hey guys, what's going on?
What is up?
Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Corona.
So, obviously, it's a beer weekend.
Beer stream.
And being
Kick off
festive,
the weekend, right?
Being festive, we're going to go with a little bit of some La Cerveza.
No, we should have done
What?
on the beer stream that we reviewed Fast and Furious. We should have had Coronas.
La Cerveza. See.
That's a fail on our. Alright, you're not Spanish, man.
But thank you guys so much for coming out, hanging out with us tonight. If you like what you see, please feel free to hit the follow button down below. And also, if you can also hit us up on Twitter at RealFanReport over there. If you guys want to suggest any topics or talk to us, whatever, please do. We love that shit. We love talking to you guys. So, also on Facebook as well at RealFanReport there also. So please feel free to follow us anywhere you like.
Absolutely.
So, got a lot to talk about tonight.
Well, we have
a lot of fun stuff to do. Obviously,
this is going to be a really fun show. Very, very lighthearted show. We don't have any serious topics for you guys.
Not at all. Not at all. We will be reviewing Guardians of the Galaxy later. Again, same format that we're going to do with Fate of the Furious.
But I don't think either of us are as invested in
No, we will not be as invested in this one. But first part of it, going to be non-spoilerific. Second part of it, spoilerific.
Are you going to coin that term?
I'm going to coin that damn term. So, as always, guys, this is the Fan Report where it's by fans.
For fans. And we'll be here for the next 2 hours talking to you
We'll
guys
be
about
for the
all
next
things sports
couple
and
hours.
movies.
You're right, just sports and movies, no video games. But you know what? It's Kentucky Derby weekend, so we decided we're going to throw in a little fun game for you guys. I'm going to try to quiz my man over here and see what
was
he's
kick off some movie season, so I got a fun game for him too.
Yeah, so we're going to have a little bit of fun tonight. So hope you guys have a good time because we about to. Oh yeah, and
Absolutely.
topics, follow along right there.
They are beautiful.
Indeed. So let's kick it. All right, so we're going to start off with some NFL draft grades.
Our first fan suggested topic.
Yeah, that is our first fan suggested topic. You're right.
Thank you, Obama Lizard.
Yeah. He wanted us to, go through some of the. He wanted us to actually go through all the teams, which we ain't got the kind of time for that. I'd love to do it, but that will seriously take like 12 hours for us to do.
It'll probably bore the hell out of you
with
guys.
the way we
and
get
us,
with
honestly.
the way that we get into it, that would take forever.
Yeah.
So we decided we're gonna break down 2 teams. And then we're going to each pick 2 winners and 2 losers and break those down as well. So we're essentially each breaking down probably between 6 and 8 teams.
And surprise, we're not talking about the Lions.
Yeah, surprise. You know
my
what?
man's basically broke them down entirely.
I did break them down entirely in the last show, which it wasn't even a topic. So you know what? I'm versatile. What
you
can
just
I
want to
say?
throw it in, you know?
I'm versatile. What can I say? So cheers.
Cheers, sir.
Cheers. To
Happy
you.
Cinco de Mayo.
Happy Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo to you. Let's get it going. So we're gonna start. I already mentioned that we're starting off with the draft. Wow. All right. But so the 2 teams we picked to break down for you guys are our main man, Obama Lizards, Dallas Cowboys. I knew he would love us. I knew he would love us to do this. And you know what? Do you want to start with the Giants? See if he, he. I don't know if he's here yet.
Okay.
But if he, if we see him come in, we can start with the Giants. Yeah, we're gonna start with the Giants. So the other team was the New York Football Giants. We're going to start with them for you guys, so that gives Obama Lizard a little bit of time to come in and hang out, because we will be breaking down the Dallas Cowboys for our main man over there also. So, he is here. Obama Lizard, you are here. You know what? Since you are here, we will be starting with the Cowboys then for you. So that is one of the teams we're going to break down, and then we're each going to pick 2 winners and 2 losers. So, again, between 6 and 8 teams probably is what we're going to be going with tonight as we're breaking down their draft grades. So let's kick it off. Obama Lizard, can we get some confirmation in the chat that you're here?
He's here. All right.
He's got to be
kick
here.
it off.
He's got to be here.
Just kick it off.
You wanna
Anyway.
lead off? All right, so let's
start.
start off with Dallas. You want to lead off? Go ahead.
I'll lead off. So, Dallas Cowboys, I think had a solid draft. I think they had one of the better drafts.
I got the full draft up on the board over here, my friend.
Thank you, because I was trying to scroll through and find their exact picks on my
I
phone.
got it right here, my friend.
Beautiful. Okay, so they took 2 players from my reviled University of Michigan, our reviled University of Michigan.
Indeed.
They
did.
kicked off the first round. Well, they kicked out, but their first round pick was Tyler Charlton. He was honestly a very, very serviceable defensive end. Very solid player.
You know what? I'm going to stop you right there, and I'm going to say that while Taco Charlton is probably going to be very serviceable, he's got good size. The only issues I have with Taco Charlton are that, one, he started 1 season at the University of Michigan. He really only even played 1 season at the University of Michigan. Granted, that 1 season he played, he was quite good. And especially, again, in some of the later games, some of the bigger games, he really showed up and showed out for them. He's tall, which is...
Dude, that size, like 6'6", 280, and he's got speed.
He doesn't have that much
speed.
speed.
He's really quick around the edge.
He does not have that much speed. That was one knock against him, was he doesn't have that quick of feet, and he doesn't have that much speed. He's a physical guy, but he doesn't have a lot of speed. He's a lot slower than most edge rushers.
He's quicker than a 6'6", 280-pound guy should be, I'll tell you that much.
Yes. I bet you they're going to make him cut some weight at the DN to see if they can really speed him up a little bit.
Because I heard actually going into the draft, he actually...
was looking at possibly a defensive tackle.
No, I heard he added like 10 pounds going in the draft. Like, he
really?
was 10
That's
heavier than
kind of surprising to me, because I would think that at the DN you'd want to have a guy around 260, 270, not closer to 280. But he's got a lot of height, which is an advantage to a defensive end, because that makes them able to see into the backfield easier. See if the quarterback's rolling out. They're able to recognize the play a lot quicker at that kind of height. Again, though, he doesn't have top of the line speed for a defensive end. He I think grades out a little bit below average in the speed department as an edge rusher. Someone of that size, he's got a lot of speed, but when it comes to an edge rusher, I don't know that he quite grades out in the same aspect there. But he's a guy who is going to be, at worst, a very, very solid rotational guy coming on your D-line there that's able to stop the run and get to the quarterback. So, no doubt, I do like to pick, especially at 28 late in the round, when you saw a lot of defensive players go earlier in the round. There wasn't much really left of value late. So, Taco Charlton at 28, I think that's good value, because I've seen him mocked as high as like 11. I did see him slide a lot towards the draft as we got closer to the draft, but I do like the pick there, so I'm not going to knock him too much, because it was a safe pick and it was a smart pick. They really needed to shore up that front 7 on the defensive side of the ball.
So what grade would you give the Taco Charlton pick?
The Taco Charlton pick, I'd go with a solid B to B minus maybe. I was
going to go B plus there.
I don't know if I go that high, just because, again, he only played 1 season at Michigan. Yeah. So we really don't know what this guy can do yet. We don't know if he's going to be able to translate to the next level, because we didn't really get much experience in college. So I'm not quite going to give it a B plus. I'm going to stick with the B to B minus range, probably like an 82, 83. Yeah. That's where I'd go. So that's about where I'm sticking. I'm not going to go C plus on it, just because the guy is, he was a good player. He was great in the 1 year that he had there. But moving on to the second round, they picked up a guy by the name of Chidobe Awuzie.
Who's a woozy?
From the University of Colorado.
Really good size for a corner.
He has got great size for a corner. I don't know the speed, though. I want a guy with that kind of size.
I don't know the speed, but I remember going in, he was one of the better tacklers.
He was known as one of the better tacklers in the draft, but at that size, he better be.
Yeah. But no, honestly, with the Cowboys, I think the second, third rounds were what their strength was in this draft.
Oh, I completely agree with you. Let's see here. He runs a 4.56. That's 3-cone drill.
40.
He did not run the 40. Okay, so that's interesting.
4.43.
4.43. Okay, that's probably an unofficial 40. That's a
He
lot.
didn't run the 40 as pro day.
Right. Okay. So at the combine, you ran a 4.43. That's actually good speed for a bigger corner. No doubt about that. He is a good tackler. University of Colorado's not a massive football school, but they're not a bad school either. They do play some competition. But at 6 feet tall, 202 pounds, and a sure tackler, when you lost 3 defensive backs in Morris Claiborne, Brandon Carr, and you lost, I believe his name is Barry Church, is that right? Something Church, I know that. But losing all that, you really need to shore up your defensive backs there. And I believe he's able to play both safety and well, fuck you too, man. But he's able to play both safety and cornerback, so he's a guy that's versatile and able to play pretty much everywhere on the field there in the secondary area. So that's really a versatile player that really helps him out.
One of the biggest things that attracted teams to him and what almost pegged him as a first round talent is the fact that he can switch between the outside and the slot seamlessly.
Yeah, and you know what? That's actually becoming more and more important because you're not just seeing the smaller, speedier guy in the slot now. I mean, the Lions are a great example of that. They took the slower but huge receiver in Anquan Bolden and threw him in the slot, and it was very effective. He was arguably the most effective receiver on that team, and you've seen other teams do that, especially throwing their tight ends in the slot. And a guy that's that size, he's able to cover a tight end. Which is such a big relief on your linebackers and your safeties trying to cover a big tight end like that because they're not necessarily as good in coverage. Versus him, he's going to be a solid cover corner. So he's going to be able to cover the slot, cover the outside, and also cover a tight end at times also as well. So definitely a good pick there. I actually give that one more towards a B+ to an A-. I like it a lot.
See, I actually give that one an A+ because that's a huge position in need, and I think they took the best player available at a position in need.
I would agree with you there. I mean, at 60,
there's something I can knock about this pick.
At 60, there's really not much you can knock about it. So you know what? I'll raise it up to an A- to an A. I don't know if I go A+. You probably won't see any A+s from me tonight.
Okay.
Outside of maybe 1 or 2 picks. But
I guess I'm a little more lenient than you.
Yeah, you are. But again, because. But I really like that pick. It was a definite position of need. And the thing I like the most about what Dallas did here is they took obvious positions of need and straight went through them in the first 3 rounds. They had a drastic need at defensive back in the secondary here. And they took, in the first 3 picks, took 2 defensive backs there. And they also had a big need at D-line, and they took a defensive end at pass rush. They took a defensive end there. I really like that. If I were to grade their first 3 rounds, I'd probably go A- at worst.
Yeah.
That takes us into our 3rd round pick for the Cowboys, which is Jordan Lewis, who
amazing thought in the 3rd round. I'll tell you that much.
I didn't surprise me actually. I was surprised he actually got taken as high as the 3rd round. Cowboys got a ton of steals in the late rounds. Yeah. I will agree with you 100%.
I had Jordan Lewis probably the 2nd rounder.
I didn't. I had him going to 3rd to 4th round. I didn't see him. I didn't have that much value in Jordan Lewis because he got beat a lot. He's not very quick. He's got decent hands, but he's not a guy that I really expect to be anywhere close to what Brandon Carr was.
Well, I think
Morris Claiborne, I think, is a guy that he could compare to. I don't know what he's going to be, what Brandon Carr ever was, though. But
what was Jordan Lewis's 40 time?
I don't know. That's a good question. But again, though, he was a guy who played well at Michigan. But also, you got to remember, Michigan had, 9 defensive players go to the draft this year? I believe that he also will help on your special teams also, so that's a good pickup there. But
I think for me the biggest knock against Jordan Lewis was his size.
His size, he's definitely a little bit undersized. 5'10" is tall is a good size for a corner.
It's on the smaller end.
188 is
5'10" on the smaller end for a corner.
A little bit, yeah. It's not horrible size. I bet you that's probably average to be honest at 5'10", but 188 is kind of small. That's a little small for me, especially playing on an outside type position. But he's a guy who doesn't have great fundamentals, but he will make a big play. He's got big playability. He's able to make the insane interceptions that, people love to see. But when it comes to purely fundamental defensive back play, he struggles a little bit in that aspect. But he's a guy who will make big plays for you. He's a guy who will cover tight, and he's not really a sure tackler, but he's able to make the big tackles for you. But I like the pick there. Again, he's a guy who will contribute right away for you, and he's only going to get better with good coaching. And you saw that with Jim Harbaugh at Michigan. You're going to see it even more under Jason Garrett, and I believe it's Gunther Cunningham. Is that their defensive coordinator now?
I think it's been the defense coordinator.
Yeah, I believe it's Scott Linehan.
Scott Linehan's their offense coordinator. They didn't take both lines, guys.
No,
but
Cowboys D.
But the reason I had Jordan Lewis pegged as a second rounder, is a late second rounder, is
Rob Ryan.
not anymore.
Not anymore. No, it was 2011. I lied.
The reason I had Jordan Lewis pegged as a second rounder going in is because going in the draft,
Marinelli?
I was.
Oh, that's interesting. Returning. I don't know.
No, he is. That is their defense coordinator.
Okay, you're right.
Ron Marinelli is their defense
and
coordinator.
he's a good defensive coordinator. He's going to coach Jordan Lewis to be even better. So I like that pick. I'd grade that one more of a B- to a C+.
But
though.
here,
not overly high on him.
The reason that I had him pegged in the second round was watching him play at Michigan and then reading up on him before the draft. A lot of scouts had him pegged as one of the more versatile corners in the draft, where he could, again, just like Chidobe Awuzie.
See, I don't see him moving into the slot as much as I do.
They said again he moves seamlessly between the outside and the slot, and they said he can even play safety in some packages.
I would see him strictly staying to the outside in the Dallas Cowboys system. I don't really see him moving into the slot unless you've got two big receivers on the outside where he might be mismatched. Then you may move him to the slot because he is a quicker receiver. He doesn't have blazing speed, but he's got decent enough speed to be able to keep up.
He can stick with receivers downfield.
Right. The thing I want to see him learn to do, which is not something you saw in college with anyone, obviously because of the rules, but I want to see him be able to jam receivers at the line. And I think that's where he's going to get beat, is right off the line. You're going to see receivers maybe run into him or put a move on him within 5 yards of the line, and he's not going to know really what to do with his hands and his hips in that situation. And that's where I think he's going to get beat a little bit. But when it comes to playing catch up, he may be able to do that.
Man. Do that as quick hips.
Yes, but they're not smart hips. He did get beat a lot off the line at the University of Michigan. Granted, in college he had catch up speed, so he's able to come up behind to make the plays.
Is it Hines catch up or
no? He had good closing speed. Sorry, but that's why That's why he made a lot of the plays that he did, because they were all closing. They were all closing plays where he's coming behind the receiver, reaching up and making the one-handed grab. He did that a lot.
He did.
But that starts because of the fact that he was beat off the line. And if you do that in the NFL, you're going to struggle as a cornerback. But again, he's got good coaches in Dallas. He's going to learn how to jam at the line. He's going to learn how to play physical and learn how to not get beat downfield. And that's going to be a big thing for him, because that's where he's got to learn.
Well, see, I'm higher on this pick than you are. I did like him a lot in college. And
I did too. I think he's a great college cornerback, but again, I don't know that his game entirely translates to the NFL, because spectacular playmakers in college like him, you don't see those kind of plays in the NFL because there's no opportunity for that. The type of plays.
I don't think keeping up with receivers on field is as big an issue as you're making it seem, though. I think he does not have much of an issue keeping up with receivers on field at all.
If he gets beat at the line, he will.
He's one of the more physical corners at the line, though.
But he's not, because you can't play physical at the line in college.
Well, I know, but that's what they're...
I'm talking, you need to jam the line in the NFL, and he does not know how to do that. And a lot of the time in college, he was beat at the line. Yeah. And if you do that in the NFL, you're going to lose battles as a defensive back. If you get beat at the line in the NFL, you're fucked. I don't care how fast you are. The fact that he's only 5'10", he's going to get beat. That's the problem.
Well, if you're... I don't see him putting on a bigger receiver at 5'10".
Well,
after the draft, Cowboys go 11. Wow,
that's pretty lofty. I still keep them at like 10-6. I still don't think the Cowboys really address some of the needs that I wanted them to address. It looks like they're going.
I'm going A- on the Jordan Lewis pick. I know I'm going a lot higher than you are.
A lot higher. You know what? I'll go B- to a B. I'll raise it a little bit. But again, though, the thing that worries me the most about him is the fact that he had to rely on spectacular plays to make a name for himself in college football. You can't do that in the NFL. Yeah. You have to be able to be very sure-handed especially at the line. It's going to come down to what he's able to do within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, and that's where he struggled in college, because he again was beat off the line a lot. They were able to put a move on him and get by him. The fact that he has good speed, good closing speed, made up for that aspect, but that doesn't work in the NFL. You can't play catch up in the NFL. You have to stay on your man and play physical. Yeah. Do not let him get by you. That's how you lose as a corner. So again, that's going to come down to coaching. And I bet you he's a smart enough guy to where I think he'll be able to figure that out and figure out how to play that style. So, but moving on to the 4th through the 6th rounds here.
Honestly, my favorite pick in that whole thing, the day 3, is Ryan Switzer.
Really, I like the Ryan Switzer pick also, but one that I actually really like a lot, Xavier Woods. I think that's a really solid pick there. Louisiana Tech, I mean, he's a 220-pound safety. This man can hit, and he's a good tackler. And, you know, most people may not know too much about him, but I thought he was even going to go higher than the 6th round. I could have seen like a 5th, maybe even a 4th round pick for Xavier Woods. So that made me, to see him drop to the 6th, I'm thinking, wow, someone's going to steal there. He was a good safety at Louisiana Tech. And again, position of need. They went 3 defensive backs in the first 5 picks for them, which really says what they needed, and they filled those holes. And even if you continue on in the 2nd pick in the 6th round, they have Marquez White, another defensive back from Florida State, who's got good height and he's got good size again. So he's a guy that another defensive back. 4 out of 6 picks in the first 4 out of the first 6 picks went to defensive backs. They really want to shore up that secondary, and they did it in the draft. So see, now the thing is though, now you got to worry about the leadership possibilities in the secondary, because if you got that many young players playing in your secondary, you could see some chemistry problems or some communication problems because you don't have the veteran leadership there in the secondary. So now, but again though, I love the aspects of I love the fact that they filled their need big time. They really went full bore in filling that need there. But I do really like the Xavier Woods pick. The Ryan Switzer pick is one that I like also. He's a very quick receiver. Oh, yeah. He's very undersized. 5'9" is small.
But he's a very
crafty receiver.
He's like that Wes Walker type. He actually he's third all time in NCAA with punts return for a touchdown, with 7 in his NCAA career. And you know what else on that list just above him? Wes Walker.
Well, I mean, I do like this
dude's
pick a lot.
Dude's got great vision. He's really shifty. He's really quick.
I do. Oh, he's 5'8", actually. He's not 5'9". He's 5'8". He's small. But 181 pounds is good. He's bulky. He's got good size there. His hands might be a little bit undersized. So you could see a potential drop problem with him. But, you know, that's not anything that can't be worked out. But, again, his comparison is Wes Welker, Julian Edelman type player. Yeah. He's going to be a guy who's going to run quick inside or outside routes real quick close to the line and do something after the catch because of his speed. Exactly. Which, limited catch radius is because of his size. He's short target with a very limited catch radius, but struggles to haul throws behind him, which, again, tells me he's not very fluid in the hips, but he's able to... He doesn't have getaway speed, but
think about it. He's 5'8". He's not gonna have the wingspan.
No, he's not gonna have the wingspan to haul a very large radius. But he's a guy that I do like the pick there. Cavs raped the Raptors again. Doesn't surprise me.
What was the score of that game?
Does not surprise me. I mean, again, as we've said before, the Cavs are showing up. The Raptors did not whatsoever in the series. I mean,
108 to 88 right now. They're up by 20.
Jesus.
Also, Nashville, St. Louis, they are tied at 1 in the second period.
Okay, so but. I do like the Ryan Switzer pick.
The San Antonio is about to start too.
Yeah, it is. But the thing is with the Ryan Switzer pick is it's going to be kind of a boom or bust. Yeah. He's going to turn into Wes Welker, or he's going to turn into unemployed by the next season.
And I'm erring on the side of boom here.
I am too. I'm leaning a little bit more towards he's going to be a Wes Welker, Danny Amendola, or Julian Edelman type player. I lean towards that a little bit more than I do the other way. So I think he's again. Put him in a good system like that. I think the Cowboys are trying to take a page out of the Patriots' book a little bit there. Yeah. But we'll see how he does. Maybe we'll see him on the Patriots in a few years doing what Wes Welker does, because that seems to be the only place that receivers like that are really successful. So interesting to see him then put him in this position, because I don't really know how much Dak Prescott likes the slot receivers.
That I have no idea. But
he seems to like the outside receivers a lot. Wait,
they're starting a rookie?
Is it?
No.
Hey, I'm surprised it's not Patty Mills. Patty Mills should be their starting point guard.
What?
Patty Mills should be their starting point guard. If there's anyone I'd start on that team, it's him.
Obama is it? I'll be honest, that scares me.
That scares me too.
But then again, I think nope, that scares me.
Yeah, that scares me.
I was trying to find a silver lining, but that scares me.
But I trust in Pop. We trust But. The Marquez White pick, a Florida State guy, which, again, good size of defensive back there in the 6th round.
They're starting DeJounte Murray. Okay.
Oh, that's not that bad then.
That's the guy I wanted to get more playing time.
Yeah,
I don't know if the
DeJounte Murray's not. That's not a bad start.
Playoffs is a time for that. Well, I don't know. I still would rather have him back up Patrick Mills for now.
I would too.
I wanted to get more playing time in the season.
I would too, but I guarantee he's going to have a short leash, and he's probably going to play fewer minutes than Patty Mills will. I can see that. But Marquez White pick, I like it a lot. He's, again, a very versatile corner, a very versatile defensive back, plays pretty much slot, nickelback, cornerback, and also probably a little bit of safety as well. So I like the Marquez White pick a lot,
honestly,
too.
I know nothing about Joey Ivy, and I know nothing about Jordan Carroll.
Jordan Carroll, again, I don't really know much about. Joey Ivy, I don't either. But the Noah Brown pick is one that's very intriguing because he's got great size. And I think that's going to be, he is an Ohio State. Now, Ohio State isn't much of a throwing team, but they do have very athletic corners. And this one kind of surprised me because that's not really a typical Ohio State type receiver. I see receivers like that coming from the Pac-12, not so much the Big Ten. But I like it because I like the size. And when you're talking about guys in the 7th round, because these are all 7th round picks, you're talking about guys that are going to fight for roster spots. So if any of these guys come out to be anything, I'll be shocked. But you know what? More power to them, and I hope they succeed.
Overall grade for the Cowboys.
Grade for the Cowboys. I give them probably a B to a B plus. I like their first 3 rounds. The 4th round is more of a hit or miss for me. I like this. I like their 5th pick in the 6th round of Xavier Woods, but the first 3 rounds I like them a lot because they fill positions in need. A B to a B plus is where I'm sticking around.
I'm giving them a
with.
solid A minus.
I'm sticking around with the B to B plus just because I like the picks they got, and that's probably pretty high for a lot of these teams. You'll see what I'm going to grade some of the other teams later. But they had an overall solid draft. They really filled a lot of needs, which is very important when it comes to the draft. I think now let me ask you this: who do you think is their best pick?
I think Chidobe Awuzie is.
I would agree with you. I think Chidobe Awuzie is definitely
that's
their
one
best
I grade
pick.
the highest as well.
I think that's the same. I
Only
think
A
that's
plus
got to
I
be their
gave.
best pick right there, Chidobe Awuzie. I think he's a guy who's going to contribute and probably start right away. So that's going to be the guy you're really going to like to see down in the Big D. Now, moving on over to the New York Football Giants. They didn't have as many picks. They only had 6 picks in this draft.
I'm going to tell you guys right off the bat, a draft they did not like nearly as much.
Yes, no, I definitely wasn't as high on this draft as I was the Cowboys. However, the first round pick is one that I was very intrigued by.
You saw a reaction to the first round.
Yeah, we were very confused by it just because you had David Njoku on the board, which is going to knock it down a little bit. However, Evan Ingram, I think, may be a better fit for their roster, for their offense, just because of the style of tight end that he is. I mean, he's a
receiver. He does not block.
No, he does not block at all.
He's a receiver. Let's just
is
be honest
he
here.
is a receiving tight end. He is more of a receiving tight end. He does work there.
That weight is different than what I saw.
234.
I saw him listed at like 211.
I've seen upwards of 230. 211 is way too small.
That's
for
what
a
I'm
tight end.
saying. Everything I was getting up on him, like he's a receiver because I'd never heard of him going into this.
Now let's see. Let's look at what ESPN has him at here. They have him at 236.
Okay.
So he is more of a He is a bigger guy. 6'3" is not huge, but it's decent. It's good size for a tight end. It's not bad.
Size.
I can't blame him there. But I like it just because it's a position that they did need. Eli Manning does like to trust his tight ends a lot.
Is that an 8 touchdown year in 2016?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Yeah, he had a lot of touchdowns at Ole Miss in 2016. 65 receptions for 926 yards and 8 touchdowns. That's a great
he's a
year
receiver.
for a tight end. He's absolutely a receiving tight end. There's no doubt about it. He did have a tackle. But he's a guy that I will put a lot of that Eli Manning is going to trust right away.
But don't you think that the Giants would have been better if they were truly set on taking a tight end to take in Njoku because he can receive. It's not like
I don't know. I would say no on the
need
blocking.
that blocking.
I don't think they do.
Look at their run game last year.
Exactly. They don't care about the run. That's what I'm saying. They don't give a shit about the run for the New York Football Giants. They just don't. They're gonna let their running back be crafty and do things. Look at the tight ends that they've tried to go with in the past few years. None of them were really blocking tight ends. They were all receiving tight ends. Larry O'Donnell was not a blocking tight end. He was a receiving tight end. And even going back to Jeremy Shockey way back in the day, he was a receiving tight end, not much of a blocker. They like those receiving style tight ends, and that's what they're going to continue with that philosophy because Eli Manning likes to...
They also had like Tiki Barber, who didn't really even need blockers.
Agreed, but again, though, you also had a little bit better of an offensive line too. But again, though, this is a team that really likes... They have a quarterback that really likes to rely on tight ends in the middle of the field, and that's what you're going to get with Evan Ingram. So I think Eli Manning probably may even have had a say in this pick. He said, I want that guy because I think he fits with us. I think he's got the mentality and the toughness to play in that slot for me, and that's the guy that I want. And Njoku didn't really fit in as well into that system as
Ingram did for me, just because of the fact that I think Ingram is a better receiving tight end than Njoku. And the blocking tight end just doesn't fit their mentality there. Who drafted the best running back in your opinion? I'll get into that in a minute. But just because that's going to be one of my picks. I'll tell you right now, the best running back in the draft was Joe Mixon.
That's all to say. It's true.
However, that's not going to be my pick for who may have had the best running back pick. But the third round pick or the second round pick for them, Dalvin Thompson. Or Tomlinson. Sorry, he's a guy that comes from the University of Alabama, and he's a defensive lineman.
Well, first, what's your good Ingram pick? I'm giving it a solid B.
I'll give it a solid B as well.
I'm being honest.
A flat B is about as good as you're going to get there. It's also about as bad as you're going to get.
Because it really was a position need for him.
Absolutely, no doubt.
And it's not like he's a bad tight end. It's just I thought there was one better. And
see, again though, I will say that while yes, there was a better tight end, but he's not a better tight end for that team. So that's where I go back and forth with those two, just because I don't think Njoku would have fit as well into that system as well as Ingram does. But moving on, second round, Dalvin Tomlinson. Can you ever go?
Did you give it
a B? I give it a flat B.
Okay.
But could you ever go wrong with a defensive lineman from the University of Alabama? Because I don't think you can.
Well,
I mean, at worst, a very, very, very solid rotational guy in the D-line.
Yeah.
Guy who's been coached well, who throughout his whole career, he's got great size at 6'3", 312, maybe even might want to drop a little bit. That's a big dude.
And people are saying that he was a bit overshadowed on Alabama's defensive
Absolutely,
line, but again, it's Alabama's defensive fucking line.
What, Jonathan Allen playing on that D line? So I mean, yeah, you're going to get overshadowed by Alabama's D line. But again, you can never go wrong with an Alabama D line pick at anywhere. So
I don't think he was overshadowed. I think it was more underrated. I think his impact on that was underrated.
I do too. And you know what? I think I'm gonna go out and say, and I think Jonathan Allen benefited from having a guy like Dalvin Tomlinson on the defensive line.
Yeah.
We've seen that before with guys like I don't even know, but
the Cavs do officially win.
Okay. But I like the Dalvin Tomlinson pick just because I like the size, I like the school he came from, and I like the fact that he's a Nick Saban coached defensive lineman. Never go wrong there. I'm going to give it a B to a B plus at that point. I think that's a little bit higher of a pick for me than Evan Ingram, just because it fills a position of need. They really did want to shore up that D-line even more. They have a great D-line, and this just adds to it.
Yeah.
So they're really building from the inside out in that aspect.
Well, I'm gonna give this grade I'm gonna go B minus.
Okay.
And the only reason is
one that I graded higher than you.
Yeah. The only reason is he's almost completely deficient when it comes to pass rush.
But again, as an interior defensive lineman, do you really need a big time pass rusher there? Because think of the pass rushers they have.
He's really solid against the run.
Against the run. Think of the pass rushers they have on that team. Did they need another pass rusher?
But again, like Jason Pierre-Paul is getting up there, and he's got two fingers.
But he was with 3 fingers on the one hand. He was arguably more effective than he's ever been.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's literally beating people upside the head with that hand. So, but yes, he's getting up there, but he also had again one of the most effective seasons he's ever had last year. And they have so much pass rush on that D-line and in that front seven altogether with the linebackers they have that I think they needed to shore up the run stopping more than they did the pass rush. So I think this even fits even more.
They were pretty horrible
in that
against the
aspect.
run last year.
They were. And this is going to fix that problem. So I think it's a pick that really works for what they needed. They needed a good run-stopping defensive lineman, and that's what they got. So I'm not as worried about the fact that he's not a very good pass rusher because of the fact that they have that already. They needed a run stopper, and that's what they got.
Now, this pick round 3, I think is the most interesting pick for the Giants. Davis Webb, quarterback out of California.
Yes, he is huge, by the way.
Yeah.
He's huge.
But one interesting thing about him, a couple of interesting things about him. First, he transferred out of Texas Tech, where he got beat out by Patrick Mahomes for the starting job. Second, he transferred to Cal, where in one season he broke many of Jared Goff's records. He was the number 1 overall pick last year.
Yes, he did. And he was a 3rd-round pick this year.
Yeah.
So what's that say about Jared Goff?
So he's a really, really smart quarterback, knows how to break down a defense.
You know who I compare him to?
Really good at making his reads. He's got a good arm.
On the field, do you know who I compare him to? UCLA's quarterback this year. He's a guy who is a very smart quarterback and able to pinpoint locations better than most people in college football. He's a guy who can fit balls into windows that you don't really know are there for a college football player. But
only not because he gets a little sloppy when he's pressured.
He does get, but again though, that's coaching,
Yeah.
and I think the New York Giants are able to coach a guy like that, especially when he's learning behind Eli Manning, who's arguably one of the smarter quarterbacks in the draft.
solid future
Absolutely a very solid future pick because of the fact that he's going to be able to learn behind Eli Manning, which again, the Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre effect.
Exactly.
Are you going to see that with Davis Webb? The thing that I think is the
honestly,
X
I
factor
would
for
not
him,
doubt
though,
it.
I wouldn't either. But the thing I think is an X factor here for him is the fact that he's so big. He's able to see over the line and see receivers behind the line without even having to move around. He's able to stay in the pocket. As long as he's got time, he's going to deliver the ball into the right spot because he's smart, he goes through his progressions well, and he's got a good arm. He's going to be a successful quarterback as long as he's willing to learn more about the game and learn the system well.
Yeah.
So I like that pick. I actually give it a B to a B plus just because it builds for the future.
Wow.
Eli's not getting any younger.
Lower than I expected on that one. Okay.
Really? I mean, a B. Okay, B plus. B plus. I'll give it that. But he's a guy that is going to probably be your quarterback of the future. Eli Manning's not getting any younger. You needed to start looking for a replacement now, and I think this may be a not just serviceable, but a good to great replacement for the future that you don't have to worry about future drafts with.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about picking up a quarterback in the first round next year or the year after because you got your future quarterback in this guy. So, I mean, B plus may even be a little bit low. I want to see more out of him before I move into the A range, but I'm going to stick with the B plus just because of the fact that I think it's a great pick in that respect because it could be your future quarterback. So I like that a lot.
The reason that, and what you just said is the reason I'm actually giving it an A minus. And what I'm not gonna get on is it's a bit of a luxury pick. You can get a few solid years out of Eli Manning still. So
absolutely.
it's not like they were in a rush
still got
to draft the quarterback.
two to three more good years out of Eli Manning before he really starts to downturn or even
there was still talent on the board. It was a luxury pick, but
definitely
again, you can't knock the logic with this pick. And
absolutely not. I can't knock the logic whatsoever. I mean, again, Eli's not getting any younger. But fourth round. Wayne Gallman here. Wayne Gallman is a guy that at Clemson was probably the second best rusher on the field.
I legitimately do not know much about him, to be honest with
He,
you.
again, was the second best rusher on the field, and that he was the running back because you had Deshaun Watson on the field.
Yeah.
So, I mean... Good
Honestly,
size at 6 feet, 215.
I did not watch much of Clemson.
I didn't either. I will admit to that also. I
I
did not watch too much Clemson football either. I know that Gallman was effective when he was in, but again...
He's a good power back.
Yes, he is a good power back. He's got good size, and I guarantee he's going to put even more weight on in the NFL. He's probably going to get up to a 225, 230 range. But... He's a downhill runner, and he falls forward. He's a guy who's going to fight for some extra yards. I would have liked to see New York pick up a running back earlier in the draft than they did.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
I can't fault them too much because of the fact that they haven't really stuck with the run since Tiki Barber. So they're very content with a very pass oriented offense, which again it works for them. It's fine, but I'm not going to discredit the Wayne Gallman pick, but I'm not very high on it either. I'll give it a C plus to a B minus.
I'm going B minus on this.
It's not something that
just because of how big of a need it is.
It is a need for them, but at the same time, the guy that they got is going to be a depth player. He's not going to be a guy who's going to. He's not going to be a guy who's going to create some big time sound there. He's not going to make some noise. Unless he lights the world on fire, but it's going to be a guy who's going to come in every now and then, maybe developmental type guy, but he will contribute at some point in his career somewhere down the line. Now, the fifth round pick was very interesting.
I know nothing about Avery Moss.
I know absolutely nothing about Avery Moss because of the fact that he went to Youngstown State. They are, I believe, the Penguins, I think is what their name is.
So why was it interesting?
Because he's a guy that probably nobody knows about. And picks like that are very interesting because you don't know what their ceiling is. You don't know what their floor is. Well, you do know what the floor is. It's out of the league by, cut and out of the league before preseason ends. But you don't really know what their ceiling is. Could this guy be a future rotational player? He's going to be a guy that's probably going to fight for a job in the fifth round pick. May have been a little bit of a reach, but he's got fantastic size. I mean, 264, 6'3" at DN. He's probably very quick.
Yeah.
Coming out of the DN. He's a guy who they must have really scouted well and liked him a lot, so I'm not going to fault him for it. I'll go C plus in the pick just because of the fact that I like his size a lot at DN.
Yeah, I can't grade a pick that late, honestly. But should we just go ahead and grade the
Want to grade the overall
Yeah.
draft? I mean,
I'm
the
giving-
thing. Okay, there are two things that I didn't really like about their draft. One, they addressed the offensive line in their last pick. I think they need to move that as much more of a priority
That's
in their
true.
draft. Two, they didn't grab a running back high enough, in my opinion. I like their top 3 picks, but I think maybe they could have gone. I don't know. They had positions of need all over the place. I mean, they needed a run stopper.
Yeah.
They needed a running back. They needed a tight end. So it's hard for me to say which one I don't like in the top 2, where I would rather have them taken a running back or an offensive lineman. But I'm gonna give their draft a B, a flat B, maybe a high B minus. But I think I'm gonna just stick with a flat B.
I'm going B minus.
B minus. Okay.
I think Evan Ingram and Davis Webb carry this draft for them. A little bit of Dalvin Tomlinson as well, but
I agree with you there.
I'm not high on the later round pick, so I can't really bump them too much higher than.
I think the fact that they only had 6 picks also may hurt them a little bit too. That definitely.
That's why I'm
doesn't
saying
help.
they really had a hit on those.
They
later round
did.
picks,
They
which
did
I
have
don't really
to
think
hit,
they
but I
did.
don't really think they did either. But you never really know.
Yeah.
That's the thing about late round picks. You should never know.
Exactly.
But
Anyway.
that's our 2 big time football franchise that we broke down for
That's
you guys.
gonna be our 2 major breakdowns.
That's our
Now
2
we're gonna
major
go
breakdowns.
quicker on
Now
these.
we're going to go quicker and move into our winners and losers. And I'll start this one off with my first winner. My first winner is the 49ers. And the reason is because they absolutely honey-dicked the Chicago Bears.
Oh my God.
With that second round pick, or that second overall pick. They absolutely honey-dicked the Chicago
my
Bears.
God.
What were the Bears? The 49ers didn't even want Mitch Trubisky. The Bears traded the farm to get that to move up 1 spot. And the 49ers are sitting there. We're still going to get the guy we want at the 3rd pick in Solomon Thomas, who I think is a fantastic pick.
Not only that, at the end of the first round, they got Reuben Foster.
He worries me so much. That shoulder worries the hell out of me.
It does.
If Reuben Foster stays healthy and stays out of
But
trouble,
you can't fall at the last pick in the first round. You might as well.
second to last pick.
Second last pick in the first. You might as well just go
Reuben
for it.
Foster pans out, fan-fucking-tastic pick, steal of the century.
Yeah.
I just don't. I'm so worried about that shoulder. It could be a waste of a pick, but you know what? That's an okay waste of a pick. Granted, they didn't have a 2nd round pick, but they still got Solomon Thomas in the 1st round, so I can't hate that. I'm disappointed the Spurs starter rookie in this now has no playoff experience.
That's what I'm saying. I definitely think
It
Patty
worries
Mills
me
should
a
have been
little
the
bit. I
starter.
would have gone with Patty Mills, but again, in Pop we trust. I can't distrust Greg Popovich.
I'll be honest with you about Mills. I actually liked DeJounte Murray. Like I was just saying, I wanted him to get more playing time during the regular season.
I'm just going to go out and say Popovich wouldn't start a guy like DeJounte Murray if he didn't trust in him.
I agree.
that right
I
now.
agree. I agree. I trust Popovich wholeheartedly.
Yes, in Pop we trust. But
He is getting old though.
he old senile, we never know. You may see a popcorn vendor at the end of the bench. I don't know. But back to the 49ers draft. I mean, Reuben Foster is obviously a steal if it pans out. Solomon Thomas, I think, was a fantastic
I
pick.
give the Solomon Thomas pick an A+.
A plus, no doubt. Just because Stanford, defensive end, great fucking size, great speed, great pass rusher, great run stopper. He does everything you could ever ask from a defensive end.
Honestly,
Immediate starter and probably a future Pro Bowler.
Reuben Foster would have been an obvious A+. Weren't for that shoulder. I don't give a shit that he got the diluted sample.
I don't either.
So
I
because
give-
that shoulder
I
knocked
give-
it down to an A-. I can't
Ooh,
knock a Reuben
I-
Foster pick 31. I can't give it a B grade.
I can't take
gotta
it. I
go
can't.
A- there.
If they had a 2nd round pick, I'd go A-, but they didn't. So I'm gonna go B+.
That basically is their 2nd round pick.
I understand, but if they had a pick closer to that, I would be more okay with it. I'm gonna have to go with a B+ here, just because of the fact that Reuben Foster may not even play for 2-3 years. He may not even play in this league after 2 years because of that shoulder. He may not ever even
That's the
see
same
the
thing
field.
with Jonathan Allen, though. Jonathan
Allen is nowhere
They
near.
found arthritis.
Yeah, but
in
that's
his shoulder.
nowhere near the type of injury that Reuben Foster had. Arthritis you can manage. His injury you can't. That's a shoulder surgery that he's already had, and they've already said he will need another one. So that's more time he's going to be missing at some point in his career, and that's a lot. That's like a season that he's missing. So that pick worries me on that respect because he's going to miss some time in the future. Good night. But again, though, if they had a 2nd round pick, I'd go A-. But the fact that shoulder is going to be a future problem and a current problem, I have to go with a B+ just because of that. Otherwise, if he pans out and doesn't have any future major injuries, A+. But right now, B+. What's up? Yeah, close it.
And then I'm not as high on the Niners' next couple picks. I'm not too low on Ahkello Witherspoon. For a third round pick, he's a solid corner.
He is a solid corner. He's
rounder.
got good size, and that's one thing I like about him. He's got great size, actually. 6'3" is huge for a corner. Probably doesn't have that great a top end speed, but the second pick in the third round for me is very interesting because CJ Beathard is a guy that played in a system that really didn't rely on a passing offense too much.
That's why it's a third rounder. It's still so risky.
It is, especially for that franchise, because they, again, are a garbage fire franchise. So you got to worry about that aspect there. But again, though, the fact that they had 2 third-round picks gives them, again, just like you did with the Reuben Foster pick, gives them a little bit of leeway to take a risky pick like that.
But think about it. You had Davis Webb on the board when they picked.
Did they?
Yeah, when they picked C.J. Beathard.
Well, then... Remember, though, one problem I have with Davis Webb is he doesn't play in a pro-style offense. That's why Jared Goff is taking so long to actually contribute in the NFL. He did not play in a pro-style offense at Cal. He played in a very, 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 very West Coast, pass-heavy, weird style offense at the University of California. And that's, again, probably the same type of offense that Davis Webb played in. C.J. Beathard played in a little bit more of a pro-style. So that's why when it comes to a guy who will translate immediately to the NFL, I lean more towards C.J. Beathard. I don't think he's going to start right away, obviously. Brian Hoyer is probably their starter, right, but C.J. Beathard could start by the end of the year if he develops well. But again, though, a pick that is for the future because Brian Hoyer is not getting any younger, and he's not a guy that I really see being there long term, anyways. So that one. Interesting. Well, let me ask you, what's your Ahkello Witherspoon pick grade? What do you give that for a grade?
The Ahkello Witherspoon pick, I'll give it a solid B.
A B? I'm gonna go with a B minus.
The CJ Beathard pick, I
go with a C plus for CJ Beathard. I go with a C plus just because it is
me.
something that you can develop a guy there. CJ Beathard was good at Iowa. Don't get me wrong, he was good at Iowa. Moving on to the 4th round pick here. Now, one thing I will say about the 49ers... Are we going
pick by pick for these winners and losers? Or?
No, we don't have to. But one thing I'm going to say about the 49ers, they made a lot of moves. I mean, they literally had 2 picks. By the end of the draft, they had 2 picks. Their first 3rd round and their first 5th round pick as the only 2 natural 49ers picks. I don't quite understand their 4th round pick because they still have... What's his fucking face? The running back for Carlos Hyde. You still have Carlos Hyde there, so it's a very, very
I only saw that guy out of Oregon. I can't remember his name.
Heavy play. It's a depth heavy pick.
But they saw that running back out of Oregon. I'm trying to remember his name. Those guys really liked back in the day.
But it's a very depth heavy pick. But let's go with the depth chart. But again, though, overall, I'm gonna give their drafts. I say they're a winner in the drafts, no doubt. And the reason is because...
I'm their winner off the base of the first 3 rounds for me.
Yes, the first 3 rounds for me are
Their 2 first-round picks were so strong, and it was such a solid pick for the 3rd round that I...
Well, C.J. Beathard was in the 3rd round. You didn't like that pick.
I know. I said it's such a solid... I'm talking about Ahkello Witherspoon. It's a solid pick for the 3rd round.
So, I do think that's a solid pick for the 3rd round. Again, I would have liked to see them move back into the 2nd round, maybe. Get some of the talent that's there because, again, Reuben Foster is such a massive risk. That's probably the biggest... Outside of...
I like a little more than you did.
Outside of Conley for the Raiders, Reuben Foster is probably the riskiest pick in the draft.
Yeah.
So, outside of Gary and Conley, he is the riskiest pick in the draft, and that worries me a lot because, again, that essentially is your 2nd round pick, which is a guy you really want to have contribute right away, which Reuben Foster may not be ready by training camp and may get hurt right away again also. So, you got to worry about that there. But Solomon Thomas, fantastic pick. I like the Ahkello Witherspoon pick. Pretty much everywhere on the field is a position in need for them. So, I can't fault them for, taking a guy when they shouldn't have. Are you talking about Mike Davis?
No.
They have Tim Hightower now.
Are you sure it's not old?
2017 depth chart.
Since
Updated
when?
5-2.
Do they have Tim Hightower?
I don't know.
That is news to me.
That's it. So that's interesting.
Yeah, they do not have.
That makes a lot more.
They do not have the guy that I was looking for.
That makes a lot more sense for the Saints running back pick, though.
Yeah,
Kamara. But moving on, do you want to do a loser now? Or because your other winner was the 49ers, right?
My winner was the 49ers, yeah.
Okay, so let's go to a loser now. And the obvious loser for me is the Chicago Bears.
Biggest loser for me.
Biggest loser for me. I straight up... Okay, well, how about this? Grade the 49ers draft. What would you give them? I give them an A. I give them just a flat A just because I love their top 4 picks, really. I think that they really did a fantastic job.
The 49ers could have traded away all their picks after a couple of years when I would have given them an A.
Really?
Yeah, I'm literally giving them the win just based off getting Solomon Thomas and Reuben Foster in the
really,
first
because
round.
I think that their last 5 or so picks are guys that are going to be
for example, a pick that a lot of people loved is DJ Jones.
I love that pick.
He's a really athletic guy, really highly touted
fantastic
prospect.
Size.
He was so ineffective in college though. He had 2 sacks in the season.
Get him on a good defense, and I love it. Get him on a good defense. Get him on a defense that's going to allow him to make some noise, and I love it. Yeah. He's a guy who will make shit happen on the D-line. I love that DJ Jones pick. I think those got the last 5 picks.
Just imagine that pass rush with Solomon Thomas and Reuben Foster playing together. That's just
I at this point can't count Reuben Foster in the pass rush. I can't because I can't.
So how can you pick him as a winner then?
Because it's a possible pan out pick. I don't even think the guy's gonna be ready by training camp. Because he just had that surgery not too long ago. I don't even think he's going to be ready in time to play preseason games. And again, though, the thing that worries me is the fact that doctors have said he's going to need another one. That worries me.
See, I'm picking him as winner based off the fact that I'm under the impression that Reuben Foster is playing day one.
I don't know that. I don't think he is.
Game 1 of the season.
I don't know that he is.
And improving their pass rush that much.
Now,
that's the single biggest.
What if year 3 he has to have another shoulder surgery? Is that still a win for you?
Well,
because they've already said he has to have another one.
Yeah, that's a risk. I'm saying that is a risk.
Okay, but it's already guaranteed he's having another one. That's more than just a risk. That's like a sure given that he's going to miss a whole year.
You're arguing because you picked him as a win, so I don't see
I understand you picked him as a win. I'm just saying you're so high you're so high on the Reuben Foster pick because, but you're basing it on the fact.
I love the value in Reuben Foster at basically a second round pick.
But is the value still there if he's not playing? There's no value there then. I'm saying that I think the win is... I think I give them the win off of the fact that they got Solomon Thomas and straight up honey dick the Chicago Bears to get so many draft picks that build so much depth for them. That's where I give them the win. I get the Reuben Foster pick. I can't even give a grade right now, a real grade, a trustworthy grade, because of the fact that this guy could be, sitting out for a whole year in 2 years, because doctors have already said he needs to have another shoulder surgery. Yeah. That bothers me a lot. If the guy misses a whole year, that kills you. Yeah. That kills that value right there. Especially if he comes back and never contributes the same way that you want him to. So that shoulder surgeries you don't fuck with. Those are bad.
Anyway,
I do like the Ahkello Witherspoon.
Do you want to move on to the next one or move on to a loser?
Let's move on to a loser. And that is the team that got honey dicked by the 49ers Chicago Bears. And they were sitting at 3.
We've crossed an hour.
We have. Wow.
Can you imagine if we did everything?
My God. Now, the thing that is interesting at first, I straight up left the Bears for the trade because I was under the...
We all did.
I was under the impression that the reason they moved up to 2 was because they thought the 49ers were going to take Mitch Trubisky.
You said it was really interesting when they moved up 1, and then because we're like, oh shit, they're afraid the Niners are going to have a quarterback. They're going to take a quarterback. They're going to take Mitch Trubisky. But then when we saw what they gave up, then we left.
Now... I'm not going to laugh as much as I was, and the reason is because the reason they moved up to 2 was not because of the 49ers. It was because of the Jets. The Jets had given the 49ers an offer to move up to 2 to get Mitch Trubisky. However, and the 49ers accepted. They were going to accept that trade. However, the Bears came in with a better offer. That's why they moved up to 2. That's what I heard coming out of other teams' GMs saying that's the reason they moved up to 2 and why they gave up as much, because the Jets had already made a play to get up there. So with that being said, I don't hate the trade as much because, again, they need a quarterback. They don't have anyone there besides Mike Glennon, which is not going to be your quarterback of the future. Sorry. So, but Mitch Trubisky is a guy that I grade at a B+ ish. I think that a team that is in absolute desperate need of filling so many positions in need to have only 5 picks in a draft is detrimental.
Let me ask you a question though. Yeah. How much is the second overall pick in the draft supposed to get paid?
Quite a bit.
Considering they're giving Mike Glennon 3 years, $43.5 million.
Oh, okay. 15 of it is guaranteed in the first year. 3 is guaranteed in the second year. Only 18 million of that contract is guaranteed. They can cut him after that aspect.
Okay.
That's why I don't hate the Glennon contract as much. Now, if he stays for a few years, it's going to be expensive. It's only 18.5 guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't bother me that much. That is doable because you're essentially paying if you only have him for 2 years and you cut him after that aspect, cut him after a certain point in the second year, or say you pay him for 2 years, say you pay him $30 million, you then paid $15 million for a quarterback for 2 years. That's so cheap for a quarterback nowadays. So I'm not going to fault him at that aspect.
So anyway, so you're not faulting him as much for the trade, right?
Not going to fault him as much.
Yeah.
I think they still gave up a lot. And they could have gotten another quarterback somewhere else at their spot at 3 if they really wanted a quarterback. Or they could have traded back and gotten more picks, which I think they should have done. Traded back to a point where you get Deshaun Watson, get more picks because you got to fill so many positions of need. The fact that you have 5 picks is so bad.
Can I ask you this? Because I have some inside information on my own end.
What?
Were you aware that John Fox, the head coach of the Bears, was...
You have a hair.
Sorry.
It's driving me fucking nuts.
that John Fox, head coach of the Bears, was not even aware
Yes,
of the
I
fact
have heard that.
they were targeting Mitch Trubisky and planning on trading up to get
until
him.
an hour before they made the trade. I have heard that. Now, that doesn't bother me as much because I think John Fox is gone in a year or two anyways.
Who do you think John Fox was thinking about getting, though? That's what I'm curious about.
Probably either someone like Solomon Thomas or Jonathan Allen or someone that was very high-end draft at that point.
They might... they didn't make the trade. Solomon Thomas would have been gone
right,
before.
But they did. And the thing I don't like about the Bears is the fact that they, at that number 3 spot, if Mitch Trubisky got taken at 2, trade back to like 7 or 8, get more draft picks, which again you need to fill needs, you need to fill holes on your roster, and grab Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
The other guy that could pan out might not, just like Mitch Trubisky. So. I mean, Mitch Trubisky's got great size, he's got great intangibles, and he's got probably one of the higher ceilings in the draft. But again, though, it's such, you gave up so much for that, and you're putting the rest of your roster at risk, the rest of your future at risk because of that aspect. Now, I'm not as mad about the fact that they never told John Fox up until an hour before, because I really don't think he's going to be there that much longer, for one.
Yeah.
2, I don't trust John Fox for drafting anyways. So, who gives a shit? 3, I think the fact that they knew Mitch Trubisky was going to go to the Jets at 2 had they gotten that trade done was bigger. The fact that is in play here is a much bigger factor than that is, in my opinion, because again they needed a quarterback. They wanted Mitch Trubisky, and then they found out that 49ers again played the Jets against them. They had a trade in place with the Jets to basically give up Mitch Trubisky to move back. Now the Bears knew that.
Yeah.
They made the play. They decided to make the jump and beat the Jets trade and did. I'm not going to fault them as much for that. I still think they gave up so much. And I would have rather see them move back than move up because I wanted to see them get more draft picks as well as get Deshaun Watson.
And moving on from Mitch Trubisky, though, the Adam Shaheen pick, trash. The Tara Cohen pick, trash. Jordan Morgan, who? Eddie Jackson, I do like, though.
Eddie Jackson, I like. Adam Shaheen, where the fuck is Ashland? And that motherfucker's 277 pounds at 6'6" for a tight end. That man is an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
That is huge. He better be good at blocking because that's a big fucker.
And then look at the size of Tara Cohen.
The Tart Cohen,
5'6".
Yeah, it's a little undersized.
179.
That is a lot.
He was going to get thrown around like a rag doll.
But I've heard him argued as the next Darren Sproles.
That I've not heard a single time.
I have, because Darren Sproles is a guy who was quick and a good route runner, and I believe Tart Cohen's the same type of player. So you could see that aspect there. Now, come on. There we go. Let's see. Oh, I guess he's not that much of a pass-catching back. 221 yards pretty good that year. Oh, that's one game? Oh, no, it's rushing. Okay, never mind. So he is a bit of a pass-catching back here. I mean, he's not a touchdown-scoring back, but he does get some touches.
221-yard game?
Yeah, he had a 221-yard game.
He had an 84-yard
and
rush.
13 touches.
He had an 84-yard rush.
Yeah,
That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
But
again, I don't hate the pick that much. I think it's a...
I don't like it at all.
I would give it a C minus.
Not even position of need. To be
I would
honest
give
with
him.
you.
I think it is for them. I'm not that high on Jordan Howard and Jeremy Langford. I'm really not.
I
Jordan
really-
Howard was vastly ineffective.
I did completely disagree with you.
The guy averaged below 3.5 yards a carry.
3.5 yards a carry is solid, but
No, that's trash.
That
3.5
is
yards a
not
carry
trash.
is garbage. That's
That is
well
not
below
trash.
average in the NFL. Are you shitting me?
Anyway, 3.5 yards a carry. You run with him 3 times, you're getting a first down.
Yeah, okay, that never happens that way.
But no, it's not. He's going to be the third string back at best. He's a change of pace back at best. At 5'6", that's being generous, saying you can use him as a change of pace back. If anything, you might be a return man and a scat back.
I do think he will play a lot of return. Let's see, yards per attempt for the Bills. If you were to go 3.5 yards per carry, you would put yourself at.
You're not going single player. You're going yards per attempt.
Yeah.
That includes QB scrambles.
Okay, but if we were going yards per carry here, you would at a 3.5 average, you'd be putting yourself 4th last in the league.
Again, that's team.
Okay, but a QB scramble also, you could argue, goes negative yardage. So
Again,
a lot of
this
them
is
do go
team,
negative. Okay, but that's a guy.
Go by player. NFL stats that player. You're going right there.
Okay, let's see here.
Oh,
Yard
this
per
is
carry
old
average.
as shit. Holy hell, this is old as shit. You got Chris Johnson, Steven Jackson. On
This
one.
is 2009. Let's go 2016. So let's go there. 3.5 would put him back at like.
It's not in order, dude.
Let's go average on down. Oh my god. 3.5 yards per carry would put him.
Is there okay, Eli Roth, really? There's got to be.
I understand. Oh my god, now we're in the negatives. God damn it. Sorry, guys. Hold
There's
on.
receivers on this list. What is.
Okay, 3.5 in the league would put him.
You realize there's receivers on this list, right? You realize you got
Yes.
Zach Zenner on there.
It would put him behind TJ Yeldon. It would put him ahead of Ronnie Hillman, Alfred Morris, who never touched the ball. It would put him ahead of backup running backs.
Where is he on this list?
TJ Yeldon, 106, is at
I'm saying
3.6.
where is what's his face?
Jordan Howard?
Yeah.
Probably somewhere around here.
Go by team. You can find him better.
How will we
No,
just
no,
look at
no,
Jordan
no,
Howard's
no.
stats?
Team by team category. Go up. Click on by team category up top.
Well, this is team. This isn't going to help
Okay,
me.
go back, and then
I'll
sort it
just
by
look at
team. You
Jordan
can sort it by
Howard's.
team.
Anyways, but I think, okay, Jordan Howard also got hurt. Jeremy Langford also got hurt last year. They
Yeah.
had nobody behind Jordan Howard either.
But he came back. It's not like he was a
He was,
terrible
again,
injury.
vastly ineffective when he came back. So,
His first year was good.
first year. Again, how many players, how many running
And he
backs
played
have
like
we
4
seen?
games last year.
How many running backs have we seen?
This is scouting.
Yeah, I know. How many
Arian
running backs have
Foster's
we
in
seen be effective for his average yards per attempt was 5.2. Average, no. That's not. That's yards per attempt from scrimmage. That's different.
Okay.
It's not going to give us an actual number.
But
But
it's 5.2, man.
Jordan, no, it wasn't. That is from scrimmage. That's in positive game plays. That's different. That's a completely different stat. But Jordan Howard, in my opinion, was vastly ineffective. He was good in certain games, but once teams figured him out, he was trash. Look at Jeremy Hill. Again, vastly ineffective running back. Yes, that guy is garbage. That's why they drafted Joe Mixon.
I'm not talking about Jimmy Hill. I'm still talking about Jordan Howard.
Jordan Howard, I can bet you, probably will not be very good this year. But Jeremy Langford, when he came back, was vastly ineffective. And again, how many players have we seen be successful for 1 year and be trashed the rest of the way? Andre Ellington was that guy.
No, the comment I took issue with was you saying that he got figured out and then was pretty bad the rest of the year. Which I'm trying to pull up his game-by-game stats because he actually was pretty good.
Okay, Jordan Howard is not that good of a running
Coming
back.
from a guy who almost was trying to pick him up and beat himself up after it.
Okay, Jordan Howard was not that good of a running back in my opinion. He wasn't. He had a ton
one,
of touches.
2, 3,
a
4,
ton of touches.
5,
If you're a
6,
running back that's
7,
getting
100-yard games.
yes, with a fuck ton of touches. And let's see his long in those
Let's see
games
his
also.
average.
He had breakout speed at times. I don't like Jordan Howard as much as you do. I don't think he's that good. I really don't. He's useless in the passing game, first off.
He had 252 attempts for 1,313
Okay,
yards.
he had some games where he had massive games. Yes, he had a couple massive games. But you know who else has in the past? Ronnie Hillman. Where the fuck is he now? Who else did? Andre Ellington. Where the fuck is he now?
I just think you're being overly negative. On
I'm
Jordan
not.
Howard.
I don't like Jordan Howard that much. I think he's a. I think
someone needs
fantasy.
a nap.
No, I think he fucking needs to learn how to play fantasy football. This from last place every year.
Well, I didn't have him. If I had him, I probably would have gone the championship.
Okay, no, you wouldn't have because he fucking is trash. Popovich just said he thinks Houston's the worst offense he's seen in his life. When it comes to fundamental, yeah, probably.
Yeah, fundamentally.
Yeah, fundamentally, yeah, I would say that.
Get
But
points.
again, championship, no championship when it comes to fantasy.
The same league I played in.
Still, I would have easily destroyed you in that league. Easily, bro. I practically saved your team half that year.
You even admitted yourself that with the amount of injuries my team suffered, there was no chance.
Okay, with the amount of injuries your team suffered, you were fucked. But that's also like the third straight year you've been trash in that league. So I can't fault you. I can't say. Oh, whoa! I haven't had 2 bad years ever. So
anyway,
there you go. But again, I'm not going to fault him for taking. I'm not going to
topic.
fault him for taking running back.
At this rate, we're going to be at 2 hours on one
but
topic.
I think they
we
should
gotta
have
move
taken.
on.
I think they should have taken a running back higher. I would have much
agree.
rather see them
I
take a
disagree.
running back
Sorry,
higher.
I disagree.
Why? When you only have one running back that's even somewhat contributing to your team. Jeremy Langford was not very good. Regardless of how much you like him, the fact I think you put your state goggles on there.
No. I'm not telling you he was very good this year.
Okay, you have one running back that's effective.
Running back?
Yeah, that's in the NFL today. A second string running back is borderline as important as your first string.
Why are you yelling?
Because you're yelling too.
I'm not yelling.
But I'm telling you, a second string running back is borderline as important as a first string now. In the NFL, a second string running back is so goddamn important because you, one, can't rely on a first string running back to stay healthy anymore. Two, you can't rely on him to run the ball 20, 25 times a game, which that team
anybody
does.
to stay healthy in the NFL. Hold on.
Okay, well, especially running backs. Especially running backs. They're literally, their average lifespan of a running back is like a year and a half now. It's nothing. It's minuscule compared to the rest of the league. So, with that being said, you can't rely on Jordan Howard to run the ball 15, 20 times a game. That's far too much for one guy. That is beyond bell cow in today's league.
No, I'm just going to go big picture real quick before we move on.
Okay.
So,
I think running back was absolutely a position in need.
We both picked the Niners as a winner, yet I found myself defending the Niners picks against you. And then now we both picked the Bears a loser, and I found you defending the Bears picks against me. Why are you picking teams losers and defending them, and then picking one as winner and attacking?
I picked the 49ers as a winner, not beat. I picked the 49ers as a winner despite the Reuben Foster pick. Yeah. Not because of, despite of. Because, again, I don't think the guy's going to stay in the league or even be effective after his second shoulder surgery. I think the 49ers were a winner despite that pick. I think the Bears are a loser despite taking a running back. I think they took a running back too late. I wanted them to take a running back in the first 3 rounds.
Anyway, let's keep moving.
That's why I'm saying I think that's a little bit more of what I wanted to see from the Bears. Take a running back earlier. I wanted to see that. That's another reason why I have them as a loss. The big loss for me with them is they didn't have enough picks. They needed more as a team that needs to fill holes. The Bears the running back position is a hole for them. Outside of Jordan Howard, at times was effective. 65% of the time was effective. I'll give them that. Outside of him, though, nothing from the backfield. Nothing whatsoever. That's where is a big problem for me because in the NFL, if you don't have a secondary running back, you're going to fail.
I'm trying to remember the guy's name. He actually was really effective backing up Jordan Howard when he got hurt.
The fact that Jordan Howard, another injury problem. You got to worry about that too.
He missed like 1 or 2 games.
Okay, 1 or 2 games leads to 4, 5, 6, 7 in the next years. Running backs like that.
What's the guy's name? No.
Running backs like that are 1, a dime a dozen. 2, tend to get hurt. 3, their second year, they never seem to succeed. Never seem to succeed. How many times have we seen a running back perform so well in his first year, and then in the second year be literally non-existent? Andre Ellington is a great example. Ronnie Hillman's a great example. C.J. Anderson's a great example.
Carey. That's what I'm thinking of.
They got nothing.
32 rushes for 126 yards. That's like a 4-yard per rush average.
Okay, that's a little bit better, yes. But again, 32 rushes is not enough for a second-string running back. You need someone that's going to take some of the weight load off of Jordan Howard. They needed a running back in that slot. That's why it was considered a position of need on everyone's draft boards, not just my own. Every analyst has said running back was a position of need for the Bears because, again, outside How did you not see that?
Anyway, let's move on.
Do they even have Kenny and Carey anymore?
Yeah, they do. Let's
Are
move
you
on.
sure?
Yes.
How you also thought that the
I just blew up their depth chart just now.
Okay. But moving on from the Bears, second winner for me, and this I don't think you have them as your second winner, but for me, the second winner is the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, I don't have them as my winner, but they did have a solid draft.
They had a fantastic draft, and here's why I have them as my second winner.
Fournette?
Where's my Jags draft board? Okay, it's disappeared. Hold on a second.
Well, I think the main is Leonard Fournette for you, right?
No, actually, the Leonard Fournette I think was a fantastic pick. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, you're gonna answer Obama's question now?
What was this question?
About the running backs? Who was the best running back taken in the draft?
Yes, I'm going to answer that now, actually. Jay Cutler retired, what a bust.
Well,
he basically said that nobody ever retires in the NFL, which I kind of buy a little bit, just because we've seen so many players leave and come back. But now, I'm going to say that the fucking Jaguars are my other winner.
Just ask Brett Favre.
Yeah, Brett Favre. I mean, Tony Romo probably will do it. But the reason, yes, I think the Leonard Fournette pick was a fantastic pick. Huge position of need. Guy who's probably going to be a sure thing in the NFL if he works hard. The pick I like the most, Cam Robinson pick. That's the pick where I think they hit an absolute A to A plus because that's a steal at the second round right there. That's an absolute steal. He's going to be a guy who's going to contribute right away for you on the O-line and shore up your running game, which, oh, by the way, you got a great running back in Leonard Fournette. I will give them an A in this draft based off the first two picks. Now, moving on down, Dwayne Smoot, great defensive end out of Illinois. Great size, great speed, and he's a good pass rusher. D.D. Westbrook, a fantastic receiver in the fourth round. Holy shit, is that a steal in the fourth round. D.D. Westbrook is great as a receiver. He needs to put on a little bit of weight.
I agree with you there.
He needs to put on a little bit of weight, but a fantastic receiver, especially in the fourth round. And that is something that is going to add to their plethora of receivers that they already have there. That is going to be a threat. Probably a solid slot guy that's going to make a lot of noise and score some touchdowns. Outside of that, I don't even give a shit what they did with the rest of the draft, just because I thought they got great value there. By the way, don't ignore that 7th round pick, and here's why. You picked up a running back in the first round by the name of Leonard Fournette. He's a bruiser back who likes to run downhill. You picked up a fullback to block and run in front of him, and a big fullback at 280 pounds. He's going to be a bulldozer.
I remember D.D. Westbrook, though, being talked about. We do know he had his off-the-field issues, but I do remember him being talked about as someone who had some injury problems. I'm trying to find out what the injury was because I don't know.
He played all 13 games in both seasons he played at Oklahoma.
Hold on.
So I would find that hard to believe. You're also talking about a guy who scored 17 touchdowns last year, by the way.
Oh, no. I'm saying this.
He had, just to give you an idea of D.D. Westbrook here, he had, in 13 games last year, he had 80 receptions for 1,524 yards and 17 touchdowns. That's insane. Like, that's insane numbers, and that's going to be a massive.
So here are the red flags. Here are the red flags. This is what I was looking for. So D.D. Westbrook was accused of domestic violence in 2012 against the mother of his 2 children. Then he was accused again in 2013 from the same woman, and then he almost died playing football. A ruptured intestine he suffered during play threatened his life, and was
but see, that's okay. I'm not going to knock him for that because that is something that gets repaired and will never be a problem again.
But he was advised not to play football afterward, which I don't know anything about ruptured intestines.
Okay,
I don't know if you can. But considering that he played afterwards for,
it's not something that's going to. It's not something that's going to affect his career.
That's what I'm saying. I'm assuming played 3 years after that injury. I think he's recovered.
Yeah, at this point he's 1, fully recovered. 2, it's not going to affect his career. 3, it's something that once it's fixed, it's never going to be a problem again unless it happens again. Which again, it's a freak injury. So
also,
I'm not going
to. He's the smallest receiver in this draft in terms of BMI.
So he's just not fat.
Which apparently they're saying it not only does that not help his injury concern, it's also historically unlikely a receiver with such will end up successful. That's what I remember reading. I remember putting this.
I'm not going to put too much weight into that because of the fact that yes, he's 6 feet, 178 pounds. But
I'm not one to buy into because historically someone that was that size was not successful.
The NFL is somewhat magical at making receivers gain weight or making players gain weight when they need to. So I have no worries in that aspect. So I think in the 4th round, a guy like that with that much talent at that spot, fantastic pick. I love that pick. I would give that pick an A. Even a 4th round pick an A. I mean, that is something
not
that
quite A on
okay,
that,
fine. A plus. B plus, A minus. I mean, it's a fantastic pick, and it's a steal in my opinion. That's a lot of talent there. The size probably was the only real knock against him.
Yeah.
Maybe the off-field stuff, but again, that's all accusations. Nobody really knows what happened except him and the woman. So I'm not going to say anything about that. But the first 4 rounds for me are what gave them the win. That's why they're my winners. Now let me hear your winner.
My other winner is Cleveland. And one big reason is any team that has a 3 first-round picks is going to be already really highly regarded. Their draft will be really highly regarded in my book. And not only did they have 3 first-round picks, but they had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 picks after that.
I will agree with you that, I mean, Cleveland did exactly what I wanted them to do in the first round, which was don't take quarterback at 1 or 12. And they did even better by trading back from 12 to 25 and getting even more. They got what? Another pick at 30 or 32?
They got 29 as well.
29 as well.
So they took Myles Garrett.
3 guys in the first round, which 3 first-round talent players is something that the Cleveland Browns really needed. So they got great value there.
They got Myles Garrett with the first pick.
And by the way, they ended up getting their quarterback later. So,
that's what I'm saying.
Which, again,
there's no reason
he's
to
not
grade
going
the
to be a
Myles
guy
Garrett
that's
pick.
going to start right away. But he's going to be a guy that could potentially be your future starter. So I love the Browns draft. I didn't want to say they're my winner because I wanted to go.
They're my big winner.
I wanted to go a little bit under the radar with them just because I'm not normally going to pick a winner as the first pick in the draft.
Me neither. I wasn't going to give them a winner just because they got Myles Garrett. That wasn't
right.
That's not the reason.
I can't even give them. I give that pick just a wash because that's a given. It's what they do later, which I think they did a great job later. I'm not very high on the Jabril Peppers pick. I'm not. I think he's someone who probably should have dropped into the second round.
With the amount of needs that they have on that defense, they could plug him in, try to figure out where they had the luxury to be able to try to figure out
Except the guy
where he
can only
fits.
play one position at a time, and he doesn't excel
So I'm
at any of them.
saying, they had the luxury trying to figure out where he fits.
Yes,
exactly.
okay, that exactly. However, he doesn't excel at any position. So when a guy doesn't have a true position, that never works out in the NFL. So that's what worries me about Jabril Peppers' pick. He doesn't have a true position, and he doesn't excel at any one position either.
And then I thought David Njoku was a great pick at 29.
I thought Njoku was a great pick as well.
Deshaun Kaiser was a fantastic pick at 52.
I will agree with you there. I think, again, draft for the future with that pick.
I think the first 4 picks were all hits.
I'll agree with you there. I'm not as high on the Jabril Peppers pick, but I think the other 3 were great.
So, yeah, that's my big winner. And then I think we have one more loser, right?
I think this one we agree on as well. I've got the Rams. I think they didn't fill really any position.
I think their draft didn't make any sense.
It didn't for me either. And Cooper Kupp, who's that? At the second round pick, Gerald Everett third round pick. A team that was not very good didn't have a first round pick. That bothered me. You had 2 third rounds, 2 fourth rounds, 2 sixth rounds. You don't think you could have at least moved up to 28 in the first round or 27 in the first round with all that? Maybe give a future second or third round pick to add to that. So, I mean, the fact they didn't have first round, automatically an F right there for me. Second, their first pick in the draft, which is in the second round at 44, Gerald Everett from South Alabama, doesn't make any sense to me. I would have liked to see them go O-line with that pick, actually, to give some running room for...
one guy named Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley, yeah. The name was fucking on. It slipped my mind. Then the Cooper Kupp pick just doesn't make sense to me. The fact that they had in the second round a guy by the name of Zay Jones dropped to them, and they didn't take him, made no sense to me. Zay Jones was arguably the best receiver on the board at the time, and they didn't go after him. And they went with Gerald Everett.
I think one
instead.
of their biggest positions in need was a
Absolutely,
receiver.
wide receivers, big, huge position need for them. And they had
again,
a great
Gerald
one drop
Everett
to
is
them.
basically a receiver, but...
Yeah, but he went to South Alabama.
Yeah.
I would have rather Zay Jones than Gerald Everett. So that bothers me. Cooper Kupp, sure, got the receiver in the third round. Not going to be a big contributor right away either. Josh Reynolds, not going to be a guy that's going to contribute right away.
The rest of this draft is a real who's who of
exactly.
players.
I mean, they drafted a guy from Tulane. Can you tell me where Tulane is? Because I've heard of the school, but I don't really know where it is.
He's a 300-pound defensive tackle at 6'1".
That's kind of small for me.
Big and small at the same time.
That's small for me.
300-pounder, but he's 6'1".
At defensive tackle, at 300 pounds is not that big.
But I'm just saying
Most defensive
a
tackles are about
315. I'm not saying for the position. I'm saying in general, a 6'1" guy being 300 pounds is
that. Yeah, I would have liked to see
insane to
him
me.
maybe drop to 280, 275 and go DN, but he's probably not much of a pass rusher. But I would say 296
I don't
is.
see him being effective.
I would say 296 at defensive tackle is undersized, in my opinion. 6'1"
I
at
will
defensive
agree with
tackle
you.
is undersized. So all over the board, the guy is undersized. The fullback pick, I like. I think that's the one pick I actually do like because again, create some running room for Todd Gurley. However, I think Todd Gurley's bigger than him. So
He is bigger than him, actually.
That doesn't make any sense to me. I think if you're gonna go fullback, draft a big one. And the fact that he's 5'10", 230. That's not even a fullback. That's a running back.
that's not
So
fullback
that
size.
doesn't quite make sense to me there. But
So,
I
yeah.
like the idea. I don't like the pick. So, but I definitely give them a D minus, D maybe. I can't give them an F. I would give the Bears I would give the Bears a D minus to an F. I give these guys a D to a D minus. So, but moving on from the draft after an hour and a half in.
Hour and a half, 6 teams. So let's project that out. We would have gone 32.
Like 2 days. But moving on over here to the Big Three draft.
This
Now,
would be a pretty quick topic, but a fun topic.
yeah, the Big Three league is something that old time basketball players have decided to start up, which is basically just a bunch of
Ice Cube.
yeah, and Ice Cube, and some old time basketball players are mentioned. But basically, they wanted to bring back some names and have a fun 3-on-3 league, basically, and that's what they did. And you got a lot of old time players, some D League players, some players who really hadn't made it in the NBA. So they recently had their draft, and we got the results. We're gonna pick who we think's the best team and the worst team. So
Yeah. So I'm gonna run through the teams real quick.
I actually got the draft board right over here. I think I
have
might
right
closed
here.
it actually.
So
I did close
there's
it.
8 teams. There's 8 teams in this 3-on-3 league, and each team has a coach, and then a captain, a co-captain, and then 3 other players. Obviously, the captain, co-captain are players, and you got 3
That
other
just looks
players.
funny.
So the first team is Three's Company, who has
Three's Company.
player coach Allen Iverson.
Yep.
So
Who made that idea?
Not only
first
is he the team captain, he's also the coach.
Sorry about that,
Co-captain
guys.
DeMar Johnson, and then the team is kind
Andre
of
Owens, Michael Sweetney, and Ruben Patterson.
underwhelming.
Yeah. AI will be a beast though.
Yeah. 3-headed Monsters are the next team, coached by Gary Payton.
Yep.
Captains are Rashard Lewis and Jason Williams.
And they also have Kwame Brown.
The legend, Kwame Brown.
Yep. They have Eddie Basden.
Don't know
and
who that is.
Mahmoud Abdul Rauf.
Oof.
Which I love that name.
And then we got the Ghost Ballers, coached by George Gervin. Captain Mike Bibby, co-captain Ricky Davis.
Ricky Davis. Do you remember how awesome of a dunker he was?
Remember his sideburns?
Yep. And then you got Maurice Evans, Marcus Banks, and Ivan Johnson. Moving on to the Killer Threes.
So I don't know if you guys listen to the theme. Other than captains, it's not really a who's who of players. But
there's a few guys that are names. Like this team has
Mo
a guy
Evans,
who's-
I like.
Yeah, Mo
Kwame
Evans. I
Brown's
do
a
like.
name for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Moving on to the Killer Threes, though, coached by the famed New York Nick alcoholic,
Okay.
Charles Oakley.
Okay.
Guy who was famously banned from the Garden,
Uh-huh.
from Madison Square Garden. You have the captain, Chauncey Billups. I love that. And interesting dynamic with this one, the co-captain, Steven Jackson. Didn't these two fight each other in a certain game, if I recall?
Hey, who did you say the coach was?
Steven Jackson.
Who did you say the coach
The
was?
coach is Charles Oakley.
Okay.
The captain is Chauncey Billups. The co-captain, Steven Jackson. Literally, these guys fought each other.
It's interesting.
Very interesting dynamic.
I think
but
they have one of the better teams, though. With
Reggie Evans, Larry Hughes, and Brian Cook.
Cook.
Larry Hughes is a guy who is a decent name. He was a good three-point shooter.
Oh, Reggie
really.
Evans is a bruiser down low, and
Yeah.
Brian Cook is Brian Cook.
And now moving on to the power team, you got
Brian Cook is
Clyde.
a guy I've heard of one time.
Moving on with the power team, you got Clyde the Glide Drexler.
This
And
is another interesting team. by
this
the way.
is another interesting team, and you've
Yeah,
got
coached by
Corey
Clyde
Maggette
Drexler.
as the captain, Katino Mobley as the co-captain, then you got Jerome Williams, Deshaun Stevenson, and Moochie Norris. I really like the Deshaun Stevenson pick right there.
And Jerome Williams.
Yeah.
I do like the Jerome Williams pickup.
Moving on to trilogy, you got Rick Mahorn, a former Piston from the Bad Boys. You got Rick Mahorn as the coach. Then you got Kenyon Martin and Al Harrington. Two, I think, of the most well-rounded captains here because they both take two specific positions up top.
Yep.
Big bruisers down low. And then you got Rashad McCants, James White, and Deion Glover. Deion Glover's going to be a big-time
I
player.
remember I wanted Pistons to drive Rashad McCants out of college. Wasn't James White a former Pistons bust?
I think he might have been.
Can we pull that up real quick?
Yeah.
That's
Go
going to
ahead.
bother me.
You said James White. White.
NBA. Just like NBA.
NBA.
We'll find out.
Basketball, James White.
Yeah, professional. Oh, nope, never mind.
Nope, Portland Trail
I
Blazers.
was saying,
still
this is a
in six.
guy drafted by the last time away.
But moving on from Trilogy, you've got Tri-State, coached by Dr. J. Julius Irving, who's got
Beautiful.
captains Jermaine O'Neal and Bonzi Wells. I love that.
Interesting.
And then you got Xavier Silas, Lee Nalon, and
Who,
Mike
who?
James.
And
I
then
like
Mike
the Mike
James.
James. I like the Mike James pick there. Who? Mike James. We ended off with Ball
My
Hogs.
favorite team.
This
The
is probably-
Granny South free throw shooter, Rick Barry.
And then you got Brian, the White Mamba, Brian Scalabrini as a captain, Josh
Wait, no,
Childress.
was it Rick Barry? No, was it Rick Barry?
Yeah.
Was it Rick Barry shot Granny
Yeah.
South? Okay.
Then you got Josh
Yeah,
Childress,
White
the
Mamba,
co-captain,
Josh
Derek
Childress.
Byers, Rajuel Butler, and Ivan Johnson. Now, if I were to pick one team,
That's
I
going to be a
don't.
really good three-point shooting team, I'll tell
Yes.
you right now.
Now,
with-
if I were to pick a team
with
that's
Brian
probably
Scalabrine
not
or Rajuel
going to
Butler.
succeed, it's going to be this one. I don't think they have any star potential on this team because they have a guy.
Josh
leading-
Childress is a guy who never lived up to his potential.
Exactly, and Brian Scalabrini was nicknamed the White Mamba. So that gives you any idea of
But
what
this
he
team can
is.
shoot. I'll tell you that.
A little bit, yeah. Now,
So that's team. Those are
let
the
me
squads.
ask you. Let me
But
ask you
real
who
quick,
you think is
did we
going
have
to
the draft on here? Who who was the first overall pick?
Rashad McCants. And then you
Who
had
is Andre Owens?
I do.
Kwame Brown's the top 5 pick. Do these people never learn?
Apparently not. He last played for Zepter Vienna.
Okay, just go to his Wikipedia, man.
6-foot guard.
Let's make this easy here.
He played 2 seasons in the NBA.
Wow. Second overall pick right there. Averaged 3.6 points a game.
Star, bona fide star. But
I do agree with Sean McCann.
the Jerome Williams pick at 6 is a lot of value there. I like that. And the Mo Evans pick at 8.
Yeah,
I like that a lot
that's
too.
really Rasul
Sean
Butler at 10.
Stevenson at 11. That's a
value.
big
Larry
pick.
Hughes at 14 is
Yeah.
great value.
See, why are they not taking guys like that higher? Deion Glover way down here at 19. Mike James way down here at 23.
Okay. Anyway.
Anyways, but going back to, let me ask you this: who do you think is the worst team in this draft? In this league, I'm gonna go with Ball Hogs, the Brian Scalabrine team. I think they're a good shooting team, but they have no presence down low. I think they're gonna struggle with some of the other teams' big men.
Mm-hmm.
They have no star power. I mean, other teams have guys like Mike Bibby or Chauncey or Kenyon Martin, Jermaine O'Neal, AI, and this team has Brian Scalabrine. So I think I'm gonna have to go with Ball Hogs as the team. I don't think is gonna be.
They're
very
just not. They're
successful.
not as top heavy as our teams. They have
Right.
some good. They're pretty well rounded.
The Rajuel Butler pick I do
Yeah.
like a lot. I think
Yeah.
he's even gonna be better than Josh Childress.
Yeah.
But
yeah, just because the 2 captains are not very good, the only team here where the 2 captains are not very good, I have to say the Ball Hogs.
yeah, I think the captain's really gonna carry the weight in this
Yeah.
league. But the team I really do like a lot. There's a few of them actually. I really like the Jermaine O'Neal team, the
I
Tri-State
love
team.
the killer threes. That's not me being a homer. I generally
I
love
do
them.
actually love that. See, I
Also-
I like killer threes a lot too because Chauncey and Steven Jackson are gonna. Steven Jackson gonna be a great defender.
Yeah.
Chauncey's gonna light the world on fire from 3.
But just
so
because
is Larry Hughes.
they're 3 drafted players, I think they have the 3 best. I think they have the 3 best drafted players in this league.
I like the Mo Evans, Marcus Banks, Ivan Johnson draft, but I don't like their captains as much.
Yeah.
If I can still see Ricky Davis put up some insane dunks, I would love this team, but
Yeah.
I don't think he's young enough to do it anymore. I liked the. I like the no. I actually
All right,
think
last
this
question.
one
Who do you think is
was
going to be the best coach?
best coach? Ooh,
Are you going with the player coach and AI? Or are you going?
it's gonna come down to either AI or Rick Mahorn. Rick Mahorn's got coach experience,
Honestly,
or Gary Payton, the gruff.
this is going to be a very unpopular pick, but I think it might be Rick Barry just on the fit that his team is with his own.
That's
play
very
style.
true, but then again, Rick Mahorn has Kenny Martin, Al Harrington. That's a very good fit.
True.
Very good fit.
All right, I'll go with those 2.
Okay.
I'll just go with those 2 in general. All right. Anyway,
So,
I think
moving
that's
on
about-
from the big 3.
Told you to be a quick.
It's
topic.
going to be a joke league with a lot of fun.
But am I
old
watching
names.
it? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Oh, yeah. Moving on to our buyers sells
By
here
the way,
for this
season
week.
opener for that league is June 25th, if you guys want to know.
How can we watch it, my friend?
Go to the Barclays Center. I don't fucking know.
All right, moving on
I
to
don't know what
buy or
this is
sell.
airing on, bro.
I will open the buy or sell up here. All right, wait, you got to do the theme song.
or sell. Buy or sell. Sorry.
Okay, and so first, we're only doing 4 buy or sells here because I decided to put in an extra game this week. So our first buy or sell is going to be recently rumored Josh Gad. You may remember him from Frozen as Olaf. He posted a picture on his Twitter of the penguin, which you can 2 pictures, which you
One
can
of
argue.
the penguin and one of him as the penguin.
Yes, which you can argue is him rumoring as the penguin, and maybe he's just playing around. But it, you know,
Could be.
it
Could very well
raised
be
some,
something
it
around.
raised, you know, it made the hair stands up on the back of your neck a little
Yeah.
bit because, ooh, now we know who might be the penguin. So are you buying or selling Josh Gad as the penguin? First, let me ask you this: are you buying Josh Gad actually being the penguin, and are you buying or selling him as the penguin?
Am I buying Josh Gad being the penguin? It's not nearly enough for me to. It's very. You take it with a heavy grain of salt here. So
I'll agree with that. I'll sell that.
Obviously, it could be, but as of right now, I'm still going to sell. It's
I'll
not
sell
nearly
that
enough to go
aspect.
on.
Yes.
But do I think he could be a good penguin? I actually think Josh Gad could be a very, very different penguin if they want to err on the almost the funnier side of the penguin.
Okay.
So it depends on what tone.
Penguin doesn't strike me as a funny
So I'm
character.
saying it
though.
depends on what tone Matt Reeves is going with for Batman. So
Which sounds like he's going dark. So I don't know how that pans out. I'm actually going to.
If you follow what he does, most of the movie, yeah, dude, I would assume he's going dark.
I'm
So do I think Josh Gad can pull it off? Yes. Do I think he's quite the fit for what I feel like Matt Reeves' Batman is going to be like? No. So it hurts me, but I'm going to sell it because I love Josh Gad.
I like Josh Gad too, and I'm gonna sell it also. And I think it's because I think Josh Gad is a great voice actor. I'm not as high on his real world acting ability.
I like his
he's a
real world
good
even more.
actor.
I think he's a really talented comedic actor.
Good comedic actor, but I don't see that as a fit for the Penguin.
That's what I'm saying.
The Penguin doesn't strike me as a
You
funny
could
character.
he does have his comedic moments, but
honestly, if you were to go a comedic actor for the Penguin, why not Danny DeVito at that point? I think he'd be better. Oh, they did. You're right. Holy shit. Wow.
You're about 25 years late to the party, my friend.
25 years late to the party there. So perfect pick for me. But I'm gonna sell it because he doesn't seem to fit the role for me. So I don't like that as much. But
I think he fits the movie. It was more less fit the movie than fit the role. I think he could embody the role, but not for the type of movie I think Matt Reeves wants to do.
Oh, okay, but I agree with that.
Moving on, trailer released earlier this week, I believe. The much anticipated, long-awaited, long-delayed Dark Tower finally dropped some promotion and dropped their first trailer. Nick, what do you think of it?
I thought the trailer was awesome. I'm gonna buy it.
Okay.
I think the trailer is seemingly a good story. I love Idris Elba's character in it. I think the other lead is a little bit weak.
Matthew
But
McConaughey?
no, sorry, I'm thinking of the other movie we're talking about. But didn't he have a kid with him?
Oh yeah, are you talking about the kid?
Yeah, the kid.
Oh, okay.
I didn't really like him as much because again,
I don't really see much of him though.
I know, but I'm not overly high on him. Certain kid actors just seem so.
I was about to say, I think you have a thing against younger actors.
I do, but it's because
Tom Holland first
certain ones just seem so twitchy to me, and it just seems awkward on film. So
see, I never read the book, so I don't know if that fits the character or not. But
agreed. But it just doesn't seem to fit the style of movie for me. But I do like the Matthew McConaughey Idris Elba mix there. I do like that a lot. I think Matthew McConaughey plays a great villain in this movie. I like Idris Elba as the hero, and I think the character of Idris Elba is mysterious, and he's badass, and I really like it. And I think they're going with a good angle. It seems to be a little bit darker. I think that's a great angle for this. So I think it's going to be a good movie. I'm going to buy it.
So I'm going to buy this trailer as well. It did a really good job of making me interested, I was already
without
interested.
spoiling things.
And didn't give away a thing. It just showed me a bunch of cool action
That's another
sequences.
thing that I really liked about this trailer. It didn't spoil anything, but it made you interested.
But I'm not going to lie to you. I am very, very, very worried about this movie. The amount of times this movie's been delayed, the lack of the lack of marketing behind this movie. It's just I'm starting to get the feeling that the studio is not very confident in this film. And it worries me. But as a trailer, I'm buying this trailer. I'm definitely buying this trailer. I still definitely want to go see the movie.
I am worried about this movie as well, and there's no doubt I'll go see it.
And it's a very complicated movie to make. It's a hard movie to make.
It absolutely
it's really
is.
Easily
I'm not
mess this up.
as worried as you are, just because I think they put the right people in place. And again, a Stephen King story is
I love the two
I think a
actors
Stephen King story.
Yes.
Yes. I think a Stephen King story, you're set up for success to begin with. So, I think they got the right pieces there. I think that aspect is going to help this movie a lot. So I think they started off on the right foot with this trailer, and the sky's the limit at this point with that. So moving on to the third one, recently dropped. Was it today or yesterday?
Actually, today. That was today.
Dunkirk dropped their second trailer for their movie movie as well. Dunkirk. Are you buying or selling the new Dunkirk trailer?
We've talked about this movie quite a bit on this show.
We have.
We were very worried about the PG-13 rating.
We are.
We were really confused about where they're going with this. But we were also really anticipating it because it's Christopher Nolan's a war film, which we love both things.
We also are anticipating that.
And I absolutely love this trailer.
Really?
I really dig it. Got a little more Mark Rylance, and I got what I really liked about it though is because earlier on, before they released the trailer, they talked about what they're really going for. They wanted to show a bit of the air campaign, the sea campaign, the ground campaign, and you actually got more to feel for that in this trailer. You got to see Tom Hardy flying the planes. You got to see Mark Rylance going by sea. You got to see Harry Styles. Oh my God, why is he in this movie? But Harry Styles.
Good question.
And Kenneth Branagh on land.
So you are a heavy buyer of this trailer.
I think I'm starting to see the goal on this. I feel like this is going to be a lot more of a character study of a war film, which is not something we've seen much of.
Right.
I think you're going to get a lot more character. I think you're going to get a lot more heart, and you're going to get the violence. But I don't think leaving out the blood and gore is
okay. And that's where I'm going to say that I am not going to nearly buy this as hard as you are.
So buy it.
Here's why. I am going to buy it slightly.
What's with the movie? The trailer.
Trailer. I am buying it slightly because this trailer makes me worry even more about this movie.
Really?
Yes, because from what I saw in that trailer, this movie looks incredibly soft. For a war movie,
the opposite.
Especially.
I thought when they said it was PG-13, I'm like, this might be a really soft movie. I saw
this
a lot of
trailer,
cool shit in that trailer.
This trailer, yeah, cool. Some cool action scenes, sure. Some cool plane fights,
dog fights.
Okay, but the dog fights weren't intense for me. They weren't. It was some guy. It was some guy trailing someone else, and he's in my crosshairs. Oh, he's following me. Oh, I'm tailing him now. Like that. That's not intense for me. This trailer didn't sell the intensity of a dogfight.
Oh, also you saw people drown, about to be drowned in their own ship. Also, another thing I forgot to mention: Christopher Nolan described this as a claustrophobic war film. Which is really interesting to me when you say you're going to investigate 3 different campaigns.
I think all war films are kind of claustrophobic for me.
Oh, sorry, claustrophobic thriller. I apologize. He's trying a war film that...
I don't see this being much of a thriller. I don't.
I don't know what the hell is happening in this movie, but I'm really curious about it. This movie made me even more curious.
It does make me more curious, I'll give you that. But it makes me worry more because this movie now looks even softer to me. Because you bring in a kid aspect a civilian aspect where they're rescuing people like that. I'm sure it happened.
It's not people. A lot of those are troops.
The civilians on their own civilian ship.
Oh, okay.
You brought in very young children there. That was weird to me. Bringing.
You're talking about Mark Rylance.
Yes, who would bring in their young child into a massive war zone? That was weird. But the soft. I think the fact that you're going it seems like it's going to be a character based, a very character study war film. I think the fact that it seems like it's going to be soft makes that even worse because a character study of a war. Those guys are hardened. They're not soft.
Blues actually survived elimination. They win 2-1.
Do they? Okay. But those characters in a war are not soft. They're very hardened and they're very tense and aggressive and kind of scary at times.
I didn't see anybody being soft. I'll tell you that.
I thought that the element the aura and the element that I got from the trailer was very soft.
I saw a couple people being
scared. It was a very soft. I thought it was a very soft undertone for a war movie for me, which I don't necessarily like. That I think that worries me about this because again, How can you have a successful, soft war movie? That doesn't work for me.
I guess I got a very different vibe than you did, but
I got a very soft vibe from that. I there was no intensity for me in that. There was the only real moment that I thought was real kind of tense was the aspect of the people drowning. That was a little bit different than the rest of the trailer. But most of the trailer for me seemed very character-based, soft.
What's leading you into actually buying this though? Because you did buy.
Because I can't distrust Christopher Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
2, I love war movies.
Mm-hmm.
3, they picked a great story.
Mm-hmm.
4, I like the aspect of the air, sea, and land aspect. I like that. That's one of the big reasons why I'm gonna still keep this a buy, because I am still looking forward to this movie. This trailer hurts me a little bit though, because it does make me more worried about it being too soft for a war movie. So I went into it. I'm going to go into this movie worried about it being too soft, and this trailer doesn't help
still
that.
going into this movie.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But this trailer didn't really help qualm my fears at all. It didn't. It even maybe have heightened them a little bit more, because now I'm seeing a little bit more some other softer characters put into it.
In the words of Mark Ellis, 3 corns.
So, moving on to our last buy or sell of the week. Recently released Big Ball of Brand, led by LeVar Ball for his son Lonzo Ball and the other 2 sons, LaMelo and Latavius. Is that it? I think it's Latavius Ball. Big Baller Brand recently announced Lonzo Ball's shoe in the NBA, the Zo 2s, which the balls were recently denied by Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, and
every other
my mom's shoemaker also, because nobody wanted them. And by the way, it was only a $10 million deal. That's pay less pretty much. But it was only a $10 million deal, which tells you that they didn't even give a shit about the balls.
Yeah.
So because LeBron got a $90-something million shoe, they got 10. Which again, he's not LeBron James.
Yeah. He's
not going to the league as one of the 5 best players in the league. Now, LeVar Ball decided, I'm going to make my design and release my own shoe for Lonzo. Lonzo designed it, which it's not a bad design. I don't hate the design. However, they released the shoe at $500 for the basic shoe. They released slippers at $200. They released an autographed version of the shoe at $900 to $1,200. Are you shitting me? This kid has not done anything in his career. He was on a college basketball team that flamed out.
So do you buy the shoe?
No, I sell hardcore. Like hardcore. Who the hell is Lonzo Ball right now? A nobody in the league. He has not even been drafted. He will be a high draft pick, no doubt. He may be successful, may not be. He's got to fix his shooting style, for sure. But outside of that, and he's got to be a little bit better defensively, but outside of that, could be successful. But why the LeVar Ball's hurting his kid? He's literally hurting his kid's career. I am a wholehearted seller on this. How about you?
So, I'm going to throw a little wrench in this. Not even a wrench. It's more of a nitrous boost.
Are you going to play devil's advocate with this?
Hell
Okay,
no.
I was going to fucking say.
I'm making this
now,
worse.
One thing I will say.
I'm making this
One
worse.
thing I will say, and I don't know who the fuck you people are, but you should be ashamed of yourself because you're a bunch of schmucks. Those shoes sold over 2,000 pairs in less than 2 hours of their release. Who the fuck are you buying these shoes? Because those will be worthless soon if he doesn't succeed.
LeVar Ball bought 2,000 pairs.
He probably did.
Anyway.
He probably bought his first 12. I'll give him that.
LeVar Ball said this yesterday.
Oh, if you can't afford these shoes, then you ain't
them,
a big baller.
Yeah.
That is alienating 90% of people.
Can I...
Because who the hell has the money to afford a $500 pair of shoes?
One I do sell.
Less than 10% of people.
One I do sell in the shoe, obviously. Second,
you ain't a big baller if you can't afford these shoes.
So the message of LeVar is trying to get across is, I am not a baller if I don't pay $500 for a pair of shoes.
You know what? I don't own a $500 pair of shoes, and I feel like a baller. How about you? I put Rain J's all the time.
One, I think you're stupid if you pay $500 for a pair of shoes, unless it's like some insane collectible Michael Jordan game.
Like the Jordan 96 shoes that came out. Like, my God, that's different. Those are probably worth double now.
I think this is another comment that actually hurts his kids because
it alienates people. People like that don't want to be fans of them.
Not that. It shows that the message that he's also getting to his kids is that you're not a baller unless you blow your money.
Well, yeah, that too. But
He's setting him up for failure. And I don't think he realizes it. And
I'm undefeated. I never lost.
Well, you about to lose on this, LeVar.
Yeah, seriously, because my God, what is he thinking? What is he doing? Straight up, honestly, you're an idiot, LeVar Ball. Where are you going?
Beer up, man.
Ah, good idea.
Before we get to the games.
Ah, the games. All right, but honestly, that's the end of our buy or sells. There's no way I could even make an argument for LeVar Ball here in the Big Baller brand.
Advocate.
I can't. I literally can't. I may hate LeVar Ball more than LeBron. At least I respect LeBron. I don't respect LeVar Ball in any way. Unless, okay, that had to have been the 6-pack price, right?
Yeah. No,
My
I
God.
bought one beer for $9.99.
I was going to say, my God, here you go. But I can't say a positive thing about LeVar Ball. I can't. He maybe, okay, he raised good
By
basketball
the way,
players.
second beer of the day is Voodoo Ranger IPA from New Belgium. Highly recommend you guys try
It
this
is
beer.
a good beer. I highly recommend
We are not
it.
getting paid by these beer companies, I
No,
promise.
we are not affiliated with them in any way, but holy shit, fantastic beer.
Only recommend the beers that we do truly enjoy.
Yes. But moving on now from our buy sells here, we're going to go into a couple of games. Now, you proposed the game, which is the versus game, and which is going to be our next topic, the one after with this one. You propose a versus topic like we did, like I proposed to you with the teams from different eras. You're going to do a summer movie one just this year. But first, in honor of the fact that the Kentucky Derby is tomorrow, I'm not even ready. In honor of the fact that the Kentucky Derby is tomorrow, we're going to play a little bit of game.
Aha.
We're going to play a little game. Probably. You are totally right about that, my friend. So, if you can't understand what that sound is, that is a Kentucky Derby trumpet, which just signals the start of the race, basically. It signals everybody to line up and get ready, get your horses in place. Here it comes. So, obviously, Kentucky Derby tomorrow, probably the biggest horse event of the year, biggest horse racing event of the year, and honestly, one of the biggest sporting events of the year. It is watched all over the place.
Yeah.
It is very well known, and honestly, from what I've heard, it's one thing you got to do in your life.
This hat's looking really blue today, by the way.
It is looking really blue. But it is one thing you got to go to.
And the
at
blue
least.
on your Lions logo is looking neon, bro.
I kind of like it. I'm not going to lie. I kind of like it. But
Anyway.
apparently the Kentucky Derby is something that you got to go to at least once in your life.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to apparently dress as douchey as possible. Because it is where you get away with that type of stuff. So, but moving on from that.
You're supposed to order mint julep or something, right?
Yeah. Mint julep is their big drink. Moving on from that.
Our big drink is Voodoo Ranger IPA.
Yes, it is. Again, moving on from that. But the game I propose to you is Jockey or Prospect. Jockey or Major League Baseball Prospect.
Well, I don't know either of these things.
Now, you will sense a very interesting similarity between the names of these. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a name. I'm going to give you a name, and I want you to tell me if it's a jockey or an MLB prospect.
Okay.
Okay? Now, let's make this a little bit of fun. Let's set your over-under at...
Have an over-under?
Yep, let's set your over-under at... Do you want to make this hard on
First
you
of
or
all,
hard
how
on me?
many questions do I have?
10. There are 10 questions. Do you want to
Okay.
make this hard on you or hard on me?
I'm going to set my over-under, my own personal over-under.
Be realistic.
At 3.5.
I will not buy that. I will say at minimum you have to go because there is still a 50-50 shot here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say 4.5 is the lowest I'll go.
Fine. 4.5.
Okay. If you win, if you get the O and you're taking the over.
I was going to take the... Fine, I'll take the over.
Okay.
Fine. All right.
I'll take the under. If you get the over here, if you get at least 5,
Mm-hmm.
I'm buying you a drink next time we go out. If I win and you go under 4.5, if you go 4 or lower, you buy me a drink next time we go out.
Wait. But that has nothing to do with the show, though.
Hey, we're making this interesting.
I feel like it would be a show-related thing.
We're making it interesting. What are we going to do on the show? Don't tell me someone has to wear a pink shirt.
I was gonna say the next person buys the drinks for the show, but no, we could do that.
Okay, yeah, buy drinks for the show. I like that. Now, if you win, get the over. If you win, I'll buy the next drinks for the show. If I win, you buy the next drinks for the show.
All right.
All right. Question numero uno. Jesus Aguiar, prospect or jockey?
I feel like that's so obviously a prospect. It's a jockey.
Wrong. It is a prospect.
Well, it was a trick question because that's so obviously a
It was
prospect.
a prospect. Moving on to the second question here. Luis Saez, prospect or jockey?
Never heard of a baseball player named Luis, so I'm gonna go jockey.
There's many baseball players named Luis Castillo was a fantastic second
Okay,
baseman.
I'm gonna go jockey.
You would be correct though. It is a jockey. Ding ding ding. There are many players named Luis Gonzalez, Luis Castillo.
Oh, yeah, Luis Gonzalez.
There's many players by the name of Luis. Moving on to the third one. Mario Gutierrez, prospect or jockey?
That's a prospect.
That is a jockey.
That's a prospect.
You are wrong. It is a jockey. So you are 1 for 3 now. Fourth question. Fourth scenario. Marco Hernandez, prospect or jockey?
Prospect.
You are correct. It is a prospect.
I
You
could
are
technically
2 of
just
4.
go like prospect the whole way, and I would get my over. I think, but I don't want you to reveal that. Because that would help me.
Next one. Brian Hernandez Jr., prospect or jockey?
I'm sensing a theme. It's all Latino names.
That's kind of the point.
Oh,
They're like all Latino.
that was
bro.
my game plan going in. It's like if it's Latino name, I'm going prospect. If it's not, I'm going jockey.
Except jockeys
You're
are like all
fucking
Latino.
up my name. I always think of jockeys like little white guys.
They're not.
I'm going
Brian Hernandez Jr.
prospect.
Wrong. He is a jockey. Which that one threw me off. I would have expected the name Brian to be a baseball player. But moving on.
Where am I? Where am I right now?
You are 2 of 5.
2 of 5.
You
You
need
get
3
3
more.
of these next 5.
Yep. Cesar Valdez, prospect or jockey? And the name recognition will not help you because these guys are all like single A or double A players.
I'm going to go prospect.
You are correct. Okay, there's 1 of the 3 you need. Next question. Francisco Diaz.
Prospect.
He is a prospect. You are correct. I can't believe. God damn it.
That's 4, right?
That's 4. You need 1 more
Of the next 3?
of the next 3 to win. Your next question. Prospect or jockey? Ricardo Santana Jr.
Jockey.
You are correct. He is a jockey. You win. However, let's go to the last 2. Victor Espiniza.
Jockey.
He is a jockey.
That's
And the
6.
last one, Jeffrey Ramirez. His name
Jeffrey.
is Jeffrey.
Jeffrey.
And it actually is spelled with a Y.
I'm going to go prospect.
He is a prospect.
Woo-hoo!
7 of 10.
What a hot finish.
You literally got the last 5. Nice shit. All right. Now, I love that. That was fun.
fun.
But obviously, guys, the Kentucky Derby, I'd love to talk about
Obviously,
with you
I
guys.
know my single A and double A prospects.
Yeah, totally. And your jockeys. I'd love to talk Kentucky Derby with you guys, but I will not say I'm overly knowledgeable. I have done some research about this one. I will be placing some bets tomorrow. So will this man here. But it's not really a hot topic for sports to talk about.
I don't want to recommend a single horse. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I don't want to lose anybody
But
money.
this year, there's no really clear-cut favorite.
Uh-huh.
And you also, maybe, these horses may be running in sloppy conditions, so you throw everything out of the water then. You throw
Excuse
everything
me.
out when it comes to favorites in that aspect because muddy conditions, it's anyone's battle. Some of these horses have never even raced on in a muddy condition on a wet track. So,
can you really count them in then?
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very interesting race, and it's going to be fun because it's Kentucky Derby. It'll be a 2-hour-long special to a 1.5-minute race, and then it's over. And hopefully you won some money, and I really hope I do too. So good luck to you guys, and, well, good luck to me. So moving on now
Anyway.
to our next game, which is the Versus Summer Movie Edition.
So
He's going to give me... you go ahead and
Yeah.
describe the rules here.
So we talked summer movies on Wednesday, and we had a game brought a few weeks ago. You had a game we dubbed it Versus,
where we will bring this game back also.
Yeah.
I like this game
where
a
you
lot.
texted me a bunch of classic teams, and said, "I'm gonna pit a couple of these head to head."
And I went every era of
Yeah.
the sports, of each
Gave
sport.
me no
so.
hint. So what I did is I texted you 15 movies.
Yep.
And I said, we're going to go 5 rounds head to head. They don't have to be released in the same month or anything. Just you have $10. You can buy one of these. You can buy one of these 2 movies. Which are you going to see?
Okay.
Kind of thing.
I like it.
So here goes. Versus Summer Movie Edition. The first round 1. The Mummy versus Alien Covenant.
Asshole! You asshole! I hate you! How can you make me choose? I will take a loan out for another $10 and watch both. I will sneak into the second movie.
It's the fun of it.
Fuck
You're
you!
going to have some hard ones, man.
Oh, this is horrible.
I will be honest, this is one of the harder ones. But
How can you make me choose? I'm hurt.
just
But-
reason it out. Reason it out.
I don't know that I can. I don't know that I can. You know what? I'm going to go based off of what movie caught my eye more by the trailer. This pains me because I want to see the other one so bad. And I'm going to see them both. There's no doubt. But for the sake of the game, Alien Covenant.
Wow. I did not expect you to go. I thought you were going to go Mummy. I really did.
For the sake of the game, I'm going Alien Covenant.
Okay.
And the reason is because I think that trailer really caught my eye more than the Mummy's trailer. I thought Alien Covenant's trailer was fucking awesome.
You want to know something?
What?
I still have not watched a single trailer for Alien Covenant.
Really?
I
thought the trailer was a good mix of scary and interesting. A good mix of doesn't really give much away. And, God, now I don't even know my pick. You're an asshole. I'm going to stick with Alien Covenant.
Okay.
But no, the Mummy excites me so much.
See, the really strong
Can you
point
give me another one against the Mummy?
The really strong point for me with the Mummy is that it sets up the MonsterVerse, that's like the biggest.
That's one of the biggest
reason.
things for me is it does set up
But
the
Alien
MonsterVerse. You know what?
Covenant had that whole background behind it.
You know what?
It's
I'm going to change mine.
I'm more invested in Alien Covenant, so
Fuck! Stop giving me reasons.
But then again, I think the Mummy might be a better movie than Alien Covenant. But again, I'm more invested.
Shut
in
your damn mouth.
Alien Covenant's got James Franco and Dan McBride in it. Like,
are you done?
I'm
Because you're
done.
really making this harder for me.
So you're on Alien Covenant?
I don't know. You know what? No, I'm going to switch it to the Mummy. I think the MonsterVerse aspect kind of takes the cake there.
Yeah, I think I might go Mummy just because the implications after it.
Yeah, it does take the MonsterVerse aspect takes the cake.
The reason I picked this is because do you want the movie with the implications
prior
after,
or
you want
post?
the-
I get that.
So, second movie, The Horror Slate. It Comes at Night versus Annabelle Creation.
Does James Wan have anything to do with It Comes at Night?
No, he has 0.
I'm going to go with Annabelle.
Okay.
And the reason is because I want to see an Annabelle movie redeem itself.
Yeah.
The Annabelle in The Conjuring was terrifying,
Yeah.
and I thought would have made a great standalone movie, and I was very disappointed by the release of the standalone movie. So I'm hoping this fixes it a lot like Ouija Origins of Evil did. And It Comes at Night. I like the premise behind it, and I like the movie idea, and I'm really excited about it, but I'm not overly high on it, so to speak. I'm a lot higher on Annabelle than I am It Comes at Night. Annabelle's one that I've been looking forward to for a long time because it's got the James Wan name attached to it again. So, and it's got a good director attached to it as well in the Lights Out director. So I'm really excited about that. So I'm gonna go with Annabelle here.
I'm actually going to agree with you. I'm going to see both these movies for sure. And they both look terrifying.
It will be a busy summer.
But
we will be seeing 2 movies in a weekend. I hope you know that.
Oh yeah, I would love that. Anyway, so the reason I'm picking Annabelle Creation is I really, really, really love the way David F. Sandberg directed Lights Out. I love the job
I thought he did a very good job with that.
That was our James Wan produced movie. So from what I saw, they made a pretty good team on that first movie. We have another team up with James Wan, David F. Sandberg, and honestly, if David F. Sandberg knocks this one out of the park, he can put himself to one of my favorite horror directors.
He could throw himself up into the upper echelon of horror directors. I mean, it could put him up there.
In 2 movies, but if
it
he
continues to
be 2
but
fantastic
see, the
movies.
thing is though, is what I want to see him do is if this is a success, is stray away from James Wan and see if he can do it himself.
I agree.
That will make the
Well,
difference.
here's
for
the
me.
thing: the Lights Out was originally a short that he made,
Yes, but
which was scary in and of itself. Without
the
having anything to do with
feature
James
length
Wan.
film though
It's hard to do.
It's hard to do. It's different. It's a whole different animal. And if he is successful with Annabelle, I would like to see him step away from James Wan, even though I love the duo, just to see how he does on his own. Does he sink or swim? And we've seen a lot of
He's learning
directors
from
have
the
a
best.
very
Assuming
he has,
he's learning
but
from James
we've
Wan, he's
seen a
learning from
lot
the
of
best.
directors be very successful with a producer, a mentor, basically, and then break off and fail. We've also seen some succeed, so I'd be interesting to see if he sinks or swims. And if he swims and is successful without James Wan, he will then be pushed into one of my favorite directors because he could still be his faults could still be masked by James Wan in that pairing. Granted, I would never want to see them split up because I love them.
So yeah, and I really want to support David F. Sandberg's second outing.
I
too.
agree.
I want him to do well. So
I agree.
I do really want to see it come tonight, but I'd also go Annabelle Creation. Round 3, Dunkirk versus Detroit.
I'm gonna go with Detroit in this one. A little bit of a bias because it's got hometown implications, but I think Detroit is going to be. I'm less worried about Detroit. I think Detroit is going to just be an all
fantastic director attached to it.
Yes, it's just going to all around be a.
Both these movies are great directors attached.
Yes,
to it,
but I think this movie is going to all around be a better movie, so to speak, but not in the light that like, oh, I like this movie better than that one. It's going to be just a more well-made movie than Dunkirk, I think. This movie I see moving along lines of your drama documentaries that you see win awards. I see Detroit winning awards.
I could see it if
and
it lives up to what I think it could do. Yeah.
Yes, and that's why I'm going to say I would probably go see Detroit because again, hometown implications, and it seems like it's going to be very dramatic, very heart-wrenching, and it's going to keep you at the edge of your seat and make you engulfed in this movie, and I think that's why I would pick Detroit. Now, however, Dunkirk is one that I definitely will see, but it's one that, again, I'm going into worried about, which almost makes me want to see it more, because I have so much curiosity and worry with it, but with that respect, though, I had to knock it down a little bit because of the fact that I am so worried about it, because granted, war movies are definitely more my speed. I love war movies, probably a lot more than I like those dramatic documentaries, but in this respect, I'm going to say Detroit here.
I'm struggling a lot more than you answered, a lot quicker than I could possibly have answered. I'm still struggling with this one.
Really?
And I made this list up this morning. Because I really, really don't know.
I think there's a much bigger risk with Dunkirk than there is with Detroit.
I agree. I think Detroit's a safer bet to be a good movie,
Yes.
despite the fact that Christopher Nolan is directing the
Yes.
other movie, Dunkirk.
Both have fantastic directors.
Both
no doubt
have
about
stellar
that.
casts. Both are based on true stories. That's why I picked that I did this.
Yes, they are both based on true stories. I think Detroit will be more historically accurate. Dunkirk seems a lot more dramatized for Hollywood.
You know what?
Probably doesn't follow a historic. It doesn't follow a historic storyline as much.
I'm actually gonna go Dunkirk.
Really? Okay.
And here's why. I think Dunkirk. I think the theater, the actual movie theater aspect of it, might enhance the movie.
I would
It
say
being a
I
war
would say
movie with the scope that it is, I think it actually would make it.
I would make the same argument for Detroit. I would think that would put you more into the scene better. I think the surround sound aspect of a movie theater with the big screen and it being right in your face and puts you further
Well, there's
into
no
the
doubt that
scenario
no matter what
of
movie
Detroit.
you watch, a theater would.
Which I think a
enhance.
movie like what happens in what you're going to see in Detroit, that would be even more true and even more important than it would be Dunkirk.
Yeah.
Because Dunkirk, a war movie you can watch from afar. and it'd still be fantastic. A movie like Detroit with that dramatic documentary, you gotta be engulfed
Bring yourself back to Hacksaw Ridge for a second.
To really appreciate
Think about the sound mixing
See,
and stuff.
the thing is, though, with Hacksaw Ridge, a lot of that was watching it from afar. There was a lot of over-top angles that gave you a far kind of an angle where you're watching it from the outside looking in at it, which I thought was a very awesome aspect of the movie, and I really liked that. But it wasn't something that I was truly engulfed in the middle of it on certain scenes.
What I'm talking about specifically is if you remember the battle scene towards the end, how realistic it felt because of where
a lot
how
of that
loud
did,
it was, where
a lot
all
of
the
that
sounds
definitely
are coming
did
from all around
see,
you.
but I don't think. But again, though, you're talking about a rated R war movie versus a PG-13 war movie where you will get none of that gore and sounds and gunshot violence and all that. You won't get anywhere near the same type of sound and quality there. So you can't even put that into play because you won't get that in this movie.
Anyway, round 4.
Round 4. Okay, I'm ready.
We're going with the comedies for round 4.
All right.
You got Edgar Wright's Baby Driver versus Baywatch.
I'm going to go with the mindless comedy here. I'm going to say Baywatch.
Really? Okay.
I think Baby Driver will be a much better movie.
There you go. I agree with that.
I do think Baby Driver will be a much better movie.
I just rewatched the trailer
but
last
if
night
there's
for it,
a movie I'm going to see Baby Driver is one of those movies that I think I can see myself buying and watching several times. Baywatch is one of those movies I can see myself going to the theater, watching once, maybe watching it again on Netflix or something.
I got a really big 21 Jump Street vibe from
I do too.
From Baywatch,
which again
which just bodes well for it.
Yes, it does. I do get a big 21 Jump Street vibe, which again though,
none of the
it's
movies
one
we're
of those
putting
movies,
in this thing are movies we want to see every.
We're going to
movie
see
that's
every one
on
of these
this
movies.
list.
Yes, but I do get that vibe from that movie, and that's why I'm going to say I will probably go see this movie in theaters, and may never watch it again. I may watch it on Netflix in the future with someone or whatever, but I don't know if I buy it. I think I'm going to find it hilarious, and I will love it, but it's not one that I'd probably watch again because watching movies like that more than once, it's not as good as the first time. Versus a movie like Baby Driver, while yes, it's a comedy and it's going to be hilarious, I think it's going to be a better movie, a more well-made movie, which is why I'm going to say that movie is one that I think
there's going to be more laughs actually in Baywatch, which I actually like watching a movie like.
It's more of a mindless comedy versus Baby Driver, which has a better story.
Which again, I think watching a movie like Baywatch is an enhanced experience because you're watching with a crowd that's all laughing.
And that's why I would say I would probably pick the Baywatch here. But Baby Driver is one that I'm going to probably buy and watch several times.
I'm going to agree with you about the sentence. Like I agree with every single thing you said there. So I have 0 things to add. Now the last one, it's
take that for that.
Round 5. I'm not sure you're going to struggle as much with this one as I am.
Okay.
But round 5 is Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Okay.
Versus War for the Planet of the Apes, the 2 biggest blockbusters this summer.
This actually is one that I'm going to struggle with a lot because you may not think or know so, but I actually have a deep-rooted love for Spider-Man.
Okay.
And it begins with the comics and continued on with the original Spider-Man movies, the Tobey Maguire movies, where I probably have seen Spider-Man 1 at least a dozen
VHS,
times.
I used to watch like every day.
I have seen that movie at least a dozen times. And
Nickelback soundtrack and all.
Now, he's not my favorite superhero.
I promise you Nickelback is not in Homecoming.
He's not my favorite superhero, but he is a superhero
Batman
I really
still
like.
takes that title.
Yes. I mean, he's one that I really like. I actually kind of like Thor Ragnarok. Or Thor.
Thor?
Yeah.
But I want to see Ragnarok.
I do too. But for this, I'm going to go with Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
That's probably where you... And I'm going to guess you're going to go Spider-Man.
I don't know yet. I'm being dead honest. I don't know yet.
Here's the reason I'm going to go Planet of the Apes. Overall, I think Marvel has done a fantastic job with their movies. I also think Marvel has a little bit oversaturated their market. And that's kind of taken away a little bit of the novelty for me. because they have released so many movies, all of
I
success.
don't think it's become I don't think it's such a novelty anymore. As more so people are invested in it now.
It's still a little
That
bit of
it's
a
an
novelty. It's
automatic
still,
draw.
but see, it's still a little bit of a novelty. Oversaturation kind of takes away from that type of stuff, though. It is an automatic draw, just like you're gonna see Pirates of the Caribbean still be an automatic draw, just because it's the name. That's part of the novelty is the name. Just like Marvel's superheroes are part of the name. That's the novelty.
You could argue that like superhero movies in general are oversaturated.
Absolutely.
But the reason, at least to me and a lot of people, it doesn't feel so is because there's so many superheroes.
There are a lot, but see, we're seeing
and we've
a lot.
only hit like 20% of
Exactly, though. But that's kind of the problem with a lot of the superheroes, though, is we've seen the same superhero recycled over and over again.
Now,
Spider-Man's been
origin
remade.
movies are the ones you're getting tired.
Spider-Man's been remade like 4 times now.
Yeah.
Batman's been remade, 5 times now?
Oh yeah, we're on a third iteration of Spider-Man.
Superman's been remade now. I think we're on further than 3, aren't we?
Tobey Maguire, what Superman or
Spider-Man.
You had the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
You're right.
Andrew
You're
Garfield,
right.
Now you got Tom
Which
Holland.
again, though, all these superheroes have been recycled again and again and again.
Well, most of the Marvel ones haven't. I don't remember an Iron Man movie before.
No, okay,
I don't
that's
remember, I don't remember a
different,
Thor
though.
movie.
See, Iron Man.
There was
see,
one
thing is,
really,
though,
really
is
shitty Captain America movie '91 that no one talks about.
But see, characters like Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor are not your. I wouldn't call them tier 1 comic book heroes. I would call them tier 2 comic book heroes. They're not the big names, so to
Most
speak.
of your tier 1 the DC guys like Batman, Superman.
Batman, Superman, Spider-Man is a tier 1.
Okay.
Now, those are ones that I'd put as a tier 1 superhero comic. That's why you didn't see movies of the old days. That's why you
I'll be
saw
honest,
Batman.
those are really the ones that I read.
Exactly. They're the tier 1 superheroes versus Iron Man, Thor, Captain America would be
I
your
did
one.
have like a giant Avengers comic like this.
Yeah,
thick.
but again, though, they are your tier 2
But
superheroes.
it was a really in-depth Avengers.
I just think
Had,
Marvel has
like-
done a fantastic job with those tier 2 superheroes and turning them into mainstream. Now, however, though,
Oh yeah.
recycled things tend to oversaturate the market, and Marvel itself
Honestly,
has.
I think you could argue Captain America would go to tier 1 too. I think
You
Captain
could.
America-
That is the one exception I would say. But again, though, what Marvel's done is an incredible success, and I expect nothing otherwise from here on out.
Yeah.
However, it is a little bit. Can we do interviews? Yeah, we can do interviews, man.
Yeah,
What's
absolutely.
going on call? If you want to do an interview on call, go ahead. We'd have to set it up. I mean, if you want to do an interview on the show in the future, we'd have to set it up because we don't have the sound equipment ready for it. But if you want to plan an interview, hit us up on email at contactfanreport@gmail.com.
Or
We can
just
do.
DM us on Twitter.
Yeah, DM us on Twitter. Also, you can do that at Real Fan Report. You can DM us there, and we can actually set up an interview with you for our next show. Our next show is going to be Wednesday.
Yeah.
So we can do a live interview with you then too. So we'd have no problem with that at all. So hit us up there. But back to what I was saying though is the oversaturation of the superhero movies is what kind of takes away from Spider-Man for me. On top of the fact that all the Planet of the Apes movies that have come out in this lineage are absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
And in my opinion, a little bit more of an engaging story. A little bit more of a.
It's engaging, yes, but I think Marvel's unmatched in how engaged it's gotten its audience with its.
See,
characters.
the way I've always viewed, yes, the characters are engaging, but the stories aren't. I've always viewed Marvel as I'm watching the story happen, not I'm part of the story. Planet of the Apes, I've always viewed it as I'm part of the story. So that's kind of what, and I like movies where I'm part of the story. Again, why I loved Hacksaw Ridge so much, where I felt like I was actually part of the story, especially in that war scene towards the end. But
Same with Silence, which we will
yes,
review.
again. I
felt
like I
that
was
everything was happening to me
yes,
and I was
felt
making
like
the
I
decisions.
was yes, exactly. And but that is why I'm gonna say Planet of the Apes here, and it's because of that aspect. I think it's more of a dramatic story. I think it's more of a an epic kind of, so to speak, and I kind of dig that aspect. So I'm gonna say Planet of the Apes by a very, 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 very small margin.
So
I do struggle with this a lot.
I think Planet of the Apes can be a better movie? Absolutely.
Yes.
I think Planet of the Apes is I'm about 95% sure that's going to be a better movie than Spider-Man Homecoming. But
Because when it comes down to it, every superhero movie is the same. Every single one. Good guy versus bad guy, good guy wins. In the end. 99% of superhero movies are that way. Yes.
watch Captain America 2 and 3.
okay, but you're continuing on a lineage where that's going to happen. 99% of superhero movies, good guy wins at some point. They're all the same thing. It's good guy versus bad guy. Good guy wins.
Anyway. But,
you literally named 2 movies of like hundreds of superhero movies that have all gone the other way.
I made 2 very recent movies. But,
yes, but that's the anomaly. Again, you like to pick out anomalies, don't you?
But, so, again, I do think that War for the Planet of the Apes is going to be a better movie. Mm-hmm. I think that's a movie I think there's a lot more hype behind Spider-Man. I'm actually waiting. I want to get that trilogy all together.
I will agree with you there.
But
I do think though there's a lot more hype behind Spider-Man.
Absolutely,
there is. But they got the Marvel.
There's a
name
lot
attached.
more writing behind it. There's a lot more writing after it, and I feel a lot more invested just
because they have more competition though.
Yeah, well,
that's a big aspect.
I'm talking about writing behind it, as in story writing behind it, and story still to come.
Well, yeah, of course, because you have like a billion movies behind it, and they're already planning a billion movies out of it. So
I'm like, I've been very impatiently waiting for Spider-Man: Homecoming ever since they teased it toward like at the end of Civil War.
I don't get me wrong. I'm very excited for this movie.
I'm gonna go Spider-Man: Homecoming by a hair, just because I'm just slightly more invested than Planet of the Apes. I'm very invested in Planet of the Apes as well. But the Marvel movies I've all seen multiple times, and Planet of the Apes I've seen each movie once. So
was Kong Skull Island supposed to be a part of that MonsterVerse?
No.
Okay.
Well, no, yeah. I'm talking about
that was the initial.
Yeah, no, Planet of the Apes has nothing to do with the MonsterVerse.
I know.
That's different. Yeah.
I know.
So, yeah,
but this is completely off topic. So that was the first kickoff for the MonsterVerse then.
And real quick, spoilers in case you haven't seen the end credit scene. Oh, you don't want me to tell you the end credit scene? Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
That's where they teased.
Okay.
A bunch of the monsters.
Oh, that's not much of a spoiler. Basically, he's telling you to stay for the credits. Yeah. All right. But is that the end of them?
That was the last one.
Okay.
That was a big blockbuster one. I saved it for end. But yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get me wrong, guys. We are going to see every single one of those movies and throughout the summer, and I bet you between the two of us, we will end up buying at least 80% of them.
Yeah.
So when they come out on Blu-ray, but. There's certain ones that just kind of edge it out for me. I think, honestly, of all those movies, the one I am least excited about seeing, of all those movies, It Comes at Night. That's the one I'm probably least excited about seeing. Now, if I was only allowed to see...
When you say least excited, though, do you think it's going to be the worst out of those movies?
No,
or no?
I don't. The one I think is going to be the worst out of those movies, the one I think has the biggest fail potential...
I'm going to go Alien Covenant as much as it pays me to say.
Yeah, I'll agree with you
Just because of how bad 4 was.
Yeah, it does have the most fail potential. You know what other movie I think has a big fail potential? Dunkirk. There's so much that worries me about this movie. PG-13 war movies do not succeed. So he would be breaking the norm if he succeeds with this movie. So that one worries me a lot. The one I think will be the best movie of all of these... It's going to come down to either Detroit or Battle of the Planet of the Apes for me.
Or the Planet of the Apes?
Yeah.
I'll agree with you there.
Yeah.
I think those will be the two best
Those two would probably be the best movies. I think the one that'll make the most money is Spider-Man, in my opinion. But the one I think that'll win the most awards is Detroit. I think that it's right up the alley of the Oscars.
I think you're going to see War of the Planet of the Apes win a lot of special effects awards.
Yes, you're probably right about
awards,
that. Yeah,
maybe some makeup awards.
I think you'll see Detroit. I will be comfortable making the bet that Detroit will be at least nominated for Best Picture.
Wow. So you think Detroit's going to be the contender for the big awards like Best Picture, Best Director, Best Screenplay, those
Best
type of
Actor, Best Supporting Actor, things like that.
It feels like more of an ensemble. I don't know.
It does, but you could see someone really jump off the screen.
John Boyega?
Possibly.
That'd be awesome.
That would be. But I could see that movie being one of those movies that's nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
It's right up that alley. It's right up that alley. So that's, again, I'm seeing all these movies.
All right. Speaking of movies, movie we did see last night.
We did see this one last night. Opening night.
We're going to Guardians of the Galaxy 2. We're going to review this one for you guys. We promise it won't take as long as the Fate of the Furious review.
No, I don't have as much writing on this one. So I don't have as much oomph behind it. I don't have as much heart behind it. Because I didn't grow up with this series. Granted,
I don't think anybody did.
Exactly. This is only the second part of the series, too. So, but let's start with this. Overall,
But we're gonna again, like last time, we're gonna do a quick non-spoiler
quick
review to
non-spoiler,
start,
then we'll
grade it, and then we're gonna go into
Yep.
some spoilers for you guys, and then
okay. You want to grade it after then?
in between.
I was gonna
You
say.
grade it right
I
after
mean, like
the-
grade it in the middle of the two
Yeah.
sections. Okay, I was gonna
Because
grade it up
if they don't
front.
want to save it for the spoiler review, I still want them to get a grade. You know
Well,
what
I
I'm
was
saying?
gonna grade it up front.
Oh no, I
Okay,
want to
that's
say
fine.
what I think.
All right, so then let me have you kick it off then.
So, I was not the biggest fan of the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'll agree
Albeit,
with you there.
I saw it only one time, and I was falling asleep throughout most of it. And I had to keep rewinding because I was missing scenes because I was
I have
passing
seen
out.
that movie one time as well. I am again another. Maybe we're I know we're actually part of the the non-norm here. We're part of the
Oh, absolutely.
we're definitely
the minority.
straying
here.
off this the minority. God, I couldn't think of that damn word.
I could very well be wrong, and I'll get into it in a
Yes,
second.
we are part of the minority here, but I will agree with you on the fact that I wasn't a huge fan of the first one. I liked it. I didn't love it. It was a good,
Agreed.
entertaining movie, but again, just like you said, there were parts of it where I found myself kind of dozing off a little bit. I did actually, I think, fall asleep for a certain part of that movie, but I woke up quick and watched the rest of it. But it didn't keep my attention the whole time.
Yeah, and
I will say though, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 did,
Yeah.
but it was because, and this is one thing I'm going to give it a plus and a negative, and it was a lot funnier than the first one. It was a lot more entertaining in that aspect. There was a lot more comedy, but just like what we argued in Fate of the Furious, there was still a lot of ill-timed comedy, which is again a positive and a negative because
there's a lot of similarities to Fate of the Furious. There's a lot of similarities.
there
to it.
were a lot of similarities with Fate of the Furious,
But I think
which
it did
is
what Fate of
very
the Furious tried
weird.
to do a little better. But
Yes,
my
I
big
will
issue,
agree with that.
my big issue.
I think
first,
the characters fit a little bit better.
My
for
big
that.
issue, the first Guardians of the Galaxy. The reason I didn't like it as much is I did not connect to the characters that well.
I did connect
I
with them a
felt
lot
little
better in this one.
disattached, if that's a word, from the characters
so.
characters initially in the first one. I love the fact that they gave you more backstory and more background on the characters in this one. They gave them more depth, and then the comedies were really brought it home for me as far as getting myself attached to these
I
characters.
think the comedy angle they took really added an interesting and
then again,
fun...
the first one was very comedic, but nowhere near what this one was.
The added comedy they added with this one it added more to a very fun dynamic between the main characters.
Oh, it was fun.
It was
fun
a
movie.
fun dynamic, and there's no doubt about it that it was a fun movie because the constant back and forth with the jokes and the funny digs that they made at each other was awesome. And one of my favorite characters, even though he's not even a good character in my opinion, is the big guy. Drax, is that his name?
Batista Drax.
Yeah, Batista.
Yeah.
I thought his character was a lot of fun to watch and listen to because
and interestingly, it's the character you got the least background on.
Yeah, it was.
He was
But
just
the
there kind of for the
mindless comments that he made were innocent and hilarious.
Yeah.
Like the ugly comment he made on Mantis was hilarious.
You know I was wrong. You're actually very beautiful on the
but-
inside.
But like that type of stuff I really found enjoyable because that type of comedy works for this style of movie better than it does Fate of the
So would you say he
Furious.
was your favorite character in that movie? You know who I thought?
Mine was still the raccoon. What's his fucking
Rocket
name?
Raccoon?
Rocky, yeah.
Rocket.
Rocket. That I think was still my favorite character. That or
If we're talking, Yondu for me.
Yondu was a good character.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I think Yondu had a lot of heart in this movie.
Yondu had the most depth behind him, I thought.
He did have a lot of depth, and he had a lot of heart, too,
and
which I thought was
this
a
was
very
a guy I
different angle
hated
from
in
the
the
rest of
first
the
movie.
movie. Yondu was a guy I thought added a very different angle to this movie, which
Yeah.
I really liked. It had a lot more heart behind it than the rest of the characters gave. So I did like Yondu a lot. But one thing that bugged me, but I found kind of funny throughout the whole movie was how much Yondu looked like Conor McGregor. Like it bothered me the whole time.
You lean over to me and you're like, "Is that Conor McGregor?" I'm like, "No."
No, I said he looks like Conor McGregor. Like the whole time, I just couldn't get over. Damn, this guy looks like Conor McGregor.
Did they switch out the actor from going Galaxy 1 and make it Conor McGregor for 2?
But I liked his character as well. I just don't think we saw enough of him. I wanted to see a little bit more of him. We saw a lot of him at the end, but not during the movie. We didn't see much at all. But he did have a lot of depth for the amount of time he was on screen. I just thought Rocket, you saw a lot more of a a depth-filled character with him as well.
I thought he was on the screen for a really good amount of the movie because you had that whole sequence in the middle of the prison. I won't spoil anything, but
Yeah, it was a long movie,
Yeah,
so
it
it's hard to
was.
tell how
Yeah,
much
yeah,
someone was
yeah.
on the screen. But
Rocket
I
Raccoon.
thought I would have liked to see more Yondu in the first half. We didn't see
Yeah,
any Yondu in the first
that's
half
true.
except for like a 5-minute scene.
That's true.
Now Rocket, I thought added a lot of
I
depth.
think
to his
Bradley
character.
Cooper. He did an interview on, I believe it was Ellen. I think he described the character and the voice about as perfect as I've heard anyone describe it. Gilbert Gottfried meets Joe Pesci. I've not. That is the perfect description for what I hear when I see from Rocket.
Yeah, that's pretty damn good. And you know what? It works too.
Yeah.
But I thought we saw something with Rocket that I don't remember seeing in the first movie, and that was a lot of heart and depth to his character.
He definitely had heart in the first movie with Groot, with the original Groot.
He did, yeah. With the
The
with
friendship
Groot.
between those two is what gave him what gave him.
And
heart in
you
the
saw
first
that
movie.
you saw that angle in this movie as well. I thought you saw a lot more of attachment with Groot to the green girl.
Baby Groot now.
Baby Groot, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you saw a lot more attachment with Baby Groot to what's her face?
What is her name?
Lena? No.
Gamora.
Gamora. Yeah, Gamora. You saw a lot of attachment with Baby Groot to her, which it made sense to me. And straight up for a green
I
chick,
didn't really sense that, but
I did. But straight up for a green chick, I thought she was hot.
I mean, Zoe Saldana, she's hot.
Yeah. But I my favorite character is Rocket, just because I saw so many different angles and so many different and so much depth to a character that on the surface is someone you can tell does not let people in and is very very hardcore on the outside. Will be a total douchebag asshole that will take a dig at just about anyone and thinks he's hot shit, but he's kind of hiding a really deep center to him. And I really like that because you saw that deep center come out.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot. And you saw him really care for Baby Groot a little bit. You saw him, really care. The relationship that they were able to build between Rocket and Yondu in literally like a 2-minute frame was incredible. The relationship they built there was awesome, and it honestly made you feel for Rocket at the end of that movie. Like, and for Yondu and Rocket, that relationship there, it really made you feel that energy there. Like it really felt it, which I thought was very difficult to do, but they succeeded with it. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Last thing I want to add before. Well, first. Did you like this part in the first one or no?
Yes, I did. I think
I agree, and again, we're the minority.
I think the added comedy.
What I think this movie does well is it makes me want to revisit the first one now. I want to go back and watch it again.
It does make me want to watch the first one again. I think the added comedy is what. The added comedy in the right places made me like this movie a little bit more because it kept me more engaged.
That's one of the funnier Marvel movies.
Yes.
I'd even say second funniest behind Deadpool for me.
Really?
For Marvel movies. Yeah.
Okay, Marvel movies, yeah. It definitely, there was some out-of-place comedy. There's no doubt about that. Out-of-place one-liners that, I'm not a huge fan of. But some of them worked a little bit better in this movie than you would have seen in other movies. But overall, it was a good, funny movie. It was, and we've said before, we rag on our good buddy for this all the time, how he describes movies, but it was an entertaining movie.
Yeah,
like to the T, it was an entertaining movie, and if
we both had to piss for a good 2 hours in this movie, and we didn't want to get up.
Right, we didn't want to get up. It kept us engaged. We wanted to stay, and the story was good in my opinion.
Yeah.
I thought the angle that they took was a little odd, but
with the 80s vibe? Is that what you're saying? Or?
No. The villain character vibe. I thought the villain was a little weak in this.
Okay.
I thought the idea
I didn't want to get into spoiler territory with it.
I thought the idea
as
behind
far as
the villain.
Strength of the villain, I thought I liked that.
I don't think they played that aspect up enough.
I agree.
The strength that they went for was fantastic. I don't think they played up the strength enough. The
strength was there, but the menaciness of the villain was not.
Right. And I also the angle they took of who the villain was fantastic, and I thought really played to the heartstrings of your characters and of you attaching to the characters. But it also made the idea who the character was a good aspect there. However, the menacing of the villain, the power that they used of the villain wasn't there for me.
Yeah.
The villain was weak in that aspect. I thought the villain the amount of potential power was absolutely there, but the usage of power wasn't for me. And that kind of made me sour a little bit on the villain there. But I thought one of the weaker characters, but I thought she was hilarious, was Mantis. I thought she was a little weak.
Yeah.
Though. But another weak character that I would have liked to see a lot more
I sensed that
of.
from the trailer. I thought I was going to get a little bit annoyed by Mantis.
Yeah, one of the characters I thought was a little weak in this movie that I thought that I really wanted to expect that I really expect a lot more of, at least in
the
future
comedy
movies.
between Mantis and Drax.
Fantastic. But which again, some of my favorite parts of the movie. But the one character that I thought really let me down a lot, outside of the villain, there's two really, and one was Quill.
Peter Quill,
Peter Quill. Yep. I think he let me down a little bit.
Really? Okay.
Yes. I thought.
I think towards the middle of the movie, his story dragged. He didn't have as much to do, but
yeah, I thought this was the movie for him to really take center stage over everyone, and he didn't.
I thought he did in the first movie, but
he did. But in this movie, it was the perfect opportunity for him to really take it, and he didn't. And I thought it was a little bit of letdown. The other one for me was Kimura's sister. I wanted to see more of her and her aspects, which I think we're going to see in future movies.
Really? Okay, so here's my thoughts on Kimura's sister. Is in the first movie, I thought she didn't really fit. It felt to me like she was almost overacting, and you didn't really get that backstory. So you didn't know why she was always saying.
Maybe I kind of feel the same way, and that's why.
So, but then this movie gave the backstory and understood a little bit why she was overacting and why she was the way she was, and it wasn't really like she was overacting anymore.
I don't think I got enough of the backstory.
But here's the thing with the sister though is, did I like it more than the first movie? Yes.
I'll agree with you there.
Do I like the character as a whole? No, I found her annoying.
I did find her a little bit annoying, but I like the character. I just don't like how they portray her. I like the character because I like the dynamic between her and Kimura, and I like the sibling rivalry aspect, and I like the tension.
I thought it was.
I really like the motivation for sure. The motivation behind her character is awesome. But I just don't think that they make her a strong enough character for that motivation. I think they need to build her up a lot more.
I just think she needs to be a little bit less angry. That's all.
I think the anger should be there.
I think she was way too angry.
I think the anger needs to... outward anger versus inward anger, I agree with you. I think it needs to be more inward anger. I think the anger is there, but she's too outward with it.
Other than the fact they said they're sisters, there's nothing to indicate they're sisters.
Right, that's true.
I would have been more drawn to that aspect.
More heart-wrenching aspects to them.
If I felt more sisterly bond
yeah, if there
between
was
them
more
that was being
heart-wrenching
severed.
aspect to the two, I would agree with you there 100%. I would like to see that.
But
the thing
honestly,
is, though,
and the way they could add, and that the last thing this movie knew was more comedy because it had a ton. But I think they could have thrown a few jokes between the two sisters. It could have been.
Yes, they could have added a little more.
Could have been funny,
which they did, but they need a little more. But see,
and it would have made us connect. I mean, I did like that story because I finally got some back on that.
I do think in future movies we're going to see a. I'll wait for that with the spoilers. But I think they're going to revisit her character in future movies. I think they need to do a little bit better job. Now, with her character though, when it comes to the best villains, a lot of the anger portrayed is all inward. A lot of it. And you're seeing very much a very outward anger dominated character here, and that kind of I think takes away from her. That's why you probably think she's too angry. I think the level of anger is enough. I just think it's shown in a way that doesn't work for me. Which I think again is a bad job for the character. Which they have to kind of change up a little bit for me. But I want to see more of her because I like the dynamic there with the group, with her sister, with all that aspect. I like that dynamic. So, but
you grade this baby?
Yeah, let's grade it. Go ahead.
I'm gonna give it a solid 85. 85%.
So a flat B. That's exactly where I was thinking. A flat B. Comedy level, fantastic. It was very funny. A little overly done comedy at times, but overall, a lot of good comedy. Storyline, solid story, weak villain, in my opinion. They could have done a lot more with that. That definitely takes away from the movie, but a solid story overall. I'm not going to expect an epic out of a Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
The comedy was a huge plus.
Yes, the comedy...
The jokes might have been too many, but unlike Fast and the Furious, they all hit.
they worked. They definitely all hit, and they definitely worked a lot better in this movie, and worked with the characters better. But overall, I like the grade of a B is kind of perfect. It's it's not great, but it's not bad either, and it's not even okay. It's better than okay. It's just a good, entertaining movie. So now, breaking the spoilers.
All right, spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert! If you guys haven't seen the movie, we really recommend you guys turn away, turn it off, mute the microphone. If you guys still want to see us, mute the speakers and just look at us talk. Look at us talk. Look at our beautiful faces.
It'd be really stupid to do, but
but
if that's your prerogative.
If that's your prerogative, you just want to see our beautiful faces, so be it. But spoiler alert, hardcore here, just like we did the Fate of the Furious.
And if you have spoilers, hang around.
Fuck it, yeah. Now, okay. The fact that Peter Quill's dad is the villain. And that's a big spoiler right off the bat.
You didn't even waste any time.
I didn't even waste any time with that.
Can I say one thing, though, about Kurt Russell's character? That was some of the best de-aging I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah.
The scene with him riding around the car with long hair. I thought I was watching Big Trouble in Little China again. I thought...
Wait, say it again?
The scene was,
yeah.
I thought
the very opening scene.
They can make a sequel to Big Trouble in Little China. Just do the de-aging and put it in the fucking movie.
Absolutely. Now, again though, the angle of the villain being Peter Quill's dad was fantastic.
Yeah.
But they let me down so much with him, and it really bothered me because I wanted to see more anger. I wanted to see more animosity, and I wanted to see more because a lot of it seemed like I wanted to see more of a nefarious vibe with him, and I think nefarious is a perfect word there because I wanted to see more of an altruitive. You really didn't even understand. You really didn't even think there was an altruitive method to him until it actually came out.
So here's my thing with it.
And the amount of power that he possesses and he didn't use bothered me. And the fact that you had a God versus God matchup, they needed to blow that shit up.
This is what I'm saying. So it's really hard to build up that
the fight scene was
in one movie. So I thought this movie could have introduced Star-Lord's dad in this movie and had another villain, right?
I would have agreed
that
with
way
that.
and then have Star-Lord's dad be actually good in this movie and build you up to actually, get attached to him. And then maybe as like an end scene or a post-credit scene, then reveal there's something loose with him.
I actually would like that a lot because that would be a perfect tease into a third movie.
You could have him go more sadistic till he's a fucking madhouse.
I would have liked that as well, but for the sake of this movie,
the type of person he is, the type of villain he is, it's way too much power, way too much to fit into one movie.
Right.
For the type of villain he is.
Now, I also thought one of the reasons I thought
Guardians of the Galaxy isn't coming until after Infinity War and Avengers 4, so I could see why they wanted to be over.
Right. One of the things that really let me down about Peter Quill was you said he was Star-Lord. Is that what you called him?
Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah.
Star-Lord.
Okay, Star-Lord. One of the things that let me down with him was your father is your ultimate villain at that point. That's supposed to be your ultimate villain. Yeah. And I didn't see that much hatred for him. And that I thought that aspect
until the end, where we found out the dad put the brain tumor in the mouth.
See, I thought that really let me down because he was still joking about things.
He immediately snapped, grabbed his gun,
and then you go and you crush my Walkman.
Oh yeah,
he was still joking.
That's what we said. There was some misplaced jokes.
Yes, but
that should have been a very serious moment.
I didn't see the level of I thought the fact that he's fighting behind guns going like this was a little weak for me. I want to see more. As soon as he said that, the one thing I want to do is break his neck. I don't want to shoot him and let him die easily. I want to break his neck. I want to be physical.
So I was more of a shooter and pilot than a fighter.
I understand, but you're talking about your father killing your mother. Yeah. there's a different level you're taking there. Like, you got to go above and beyond what you're used to at that point. I mean, we saw in the beginning of the movie someone, Gamora go away from the sword and went to the gun. But I just it was the way that they portrayed his anger was just a little weak for me, and I wanted to see more of it. This is your ultimate villain. This is your father who killed your mother, who left your mother at a young age for you to be raised by what you thought was a thief. Who was a thief, essentially. He was a Ravager. But that portion of me, that was actually the one thing that really let me down with Star-Lord there, was the biggest thing. Now, the other thing was, I just thought he was...
But do you agree the scope of the villain is way too big to actually fully realize in one movie?
100%. 100%. Your idea was probably the best way to portray it. However, that's not the case, and we have to do it in one movie. How I would have done it was made his father more nefarious, made him seem more like a villain, made him straight up take the honey dickin' to an extreme. The honey dickin'. Take the honey dickin' to an extreme. He did a good job on the front end, horrible job on the back end, and that's what bothered me. But I wanted to see a better job on the front end and a much better job on the back end. I want to see an ultimate honey dickin' happen, an ultimate honey dick, and that would be what would make that movie better for me. Now, the other thing that bothered me about the other thing that bothered me about Star-Lord was, I thought he was absolutely outshined by some of his own teammates. The characters of his teammates seemed to be more engaging, and you took us off screen.
Sorry.
The characters... Yeah, we're definitely in spoiler territory. But
just want to make sure in case anyone hasn't followed the channel while we're talking about this. The
characters I thought in his team, I thought outshadowed him in this movie. I thought they outshined him. Rocket was a great example. He had better jokes. He had a better relationship with someone who we'd never even known, I thought. I mean, they should have totally played up the love aspect should have totally played up the sexual tension and romantic tension between Gamora and Star-Lord even more than they did.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I thought it was very underplayed.
It was never realized.
I know, but it was very underplayed, and it needed to be played up more. Yeah. And I guarantee you, we're going to be revisiting that in the next movie.
Made for some comedy.
Probably going to be, yes, it did, but probably going to be. But I thought that comedy was probably the flattest comedy of the movie.
Well, the conversation in the bedroom.
Yeah, I thought that was some of the flattest comedy of the movie. Now,
they're arguing, but then like throwing jokes at the same time.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird.
Again, another misplaced.
Yeah, but I thought, which then she gets like mad and storms away, like, but you were just joking, and that's just weird. But I think we're gonna see a lot of it in Infinity War. I think we're gonna see that that romantic relationship expanded in that. I don't even think they're gonna wait till 3. I think they're just gonna go straight with it with that.
Yeah.
And which I think is the right move.
Yeah.
I wanted to see more of that sexual tension though. Yeah. Sexual tension is a great angle to take in a movie.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't do it enough. But again though, I thought Star-Lord's character was just outshined. I thought Rocket was a better character. I thought Ganyu was a better character. Ganju, sorry. Wait, is that right?
Yandu.
God, Ganju. But Yandu, I thought Yandu was
how about that Sylvester Stallone appearance?
I loved it. I loved it. But I thought Yandu's character was better. I will say,
pulled on my heartstrings a little bit.
The Groot character was perfect.
Oh, yeah,
Baby Groot was awesome.
Oh my god,
Baby Groot was.
You can't miss. You put Baby Groot in there, done. Game over.
Groot. But Baby Groot was perfect
from the get go.
Yes, from the get-go, he was silly, he was funny, he was dumb and naive, he was smart, he was aggressive, he was everything you would want a baby. He wasn't too self-centered, too out in front. He was enough in the background to be the perfect character, and that was worked out for me. Drax is a little bit, Batista's character, very dumb, very simple, but it worked for him, and he was funny. And that worked for me a lot, and I actually really found his jokes to be some of the best in the movie, especially in his dynamic with Mantis, which holy sexual tension. My God, there's so much between the two of them, and which confuses me because out of one side of his mouth he's talking about how much he loves his wife and like his child, but in the same sentence he basically like shows extreme sexual tension for Mantis. So that, again, doesn't really make sense, but it was funny. And so it worked. But I didn't really quite understand that aspect. But I thought Star-Lord was outshined. I thought Rocket was probably the best character in the movie. And Yondu probably a close second. I thought those two were better. I want to see more of Gamora. I want to see more of her sister in that aspect. And I want to see more of Gamora with Star-Lord. And I want to see a stronger Star-Lord character. That's kind of where I'm going with that.
And then I also want to get in a little bit of.
But the villain really let me down here.
I want to get in the post-credit scenes a little bit here.
Okay. I thought the last
really
one was useless.
Really, just two of them stand out to me.
Yeah, the last one was completely useless.
That was my favorite one.
It was funny.
I mean, it was
It was the old man. It was the old man on the planet saying, Stan Lee.
With that's the significance.
Oh, the Watchers. You're right. Oh, that is huge. Okay, you're right. That one is huge.
So basically, in the movie, this not in the post-credit scene. In the movie, there was a scene. I think they were flying. The gold people.
They were jumping. They were jumping to Ego.
Yeah,
which I thought was a great name for the planet of a villain.
They passed by a planet that had the Watchers on it, and Stan Lee made his every movie cameo appearance, hanging out with the Watchers.
Yeah,
and the significance of this is that there's been a fan theory going around that the reason Stan Lee is in every single Marvel movie is that he's actually playing the role of a Watcher. Which what a Watcher is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Marvel Comic Book Universe, any significant events that happens, they are always there. They're at all times watching everything, recording everything. So, and then at the end, some jokes and there were some jokes going around. Stan Lee was basically recounting his cameos in other Marvel movies.
Yeah,
and then the Watchers started walking away. Watchers started walking away, and then he sarcastically remarks it's supposed to be his ride home. Where are they going? And then in the actual credits, he's credited as the Watcher's informant. Mm-hmm. So could that be...
Damn, you paid real close attention to that.
Could that be Stan Lee's actual role? Is he actually an informant to the Watchers? That way he's in all these places, and then he's telling them about everything that happened before.
He could.
Is he
I think that's a great way to take it, and that'd be interesting for future movies as well. So...
and then I think the other thing that had, as far as the biggest implication of the 5 post-credit scenes are in this movie.
Yeah.
The biggest implications for future movies.
If you have to pee in this movie,
just go.
Just go. If it's in the beginning, please just go, because you're going to hurt at the end. Because
the post-credit scenes will go all the way to the very end.
And it's a long time. Like there's a solid 15-20 minutes of credits.
It wasn't that long.
It felt like it.
I think it felt like that to you because you had to pee more than I did, but.
Oh my god, I was literally in pain.
So there was another post-credit scene with the gold people in the movie, which I thought were a little weird, but they had their comedic moments also.
That one definitely caught my eye because it definitely says that we haven't seen the end of them. Yeah. Which I think they're going to come back more nefarious, more aggressive.
I didn't know the history behind this. I didn't know the character they were introducing until I researched it at the end, after the movie. So basically, Aisha, the queen, the gold leader, whatever you want to call her, they've announced that they created a new type of
birthing method.
By the way, I'm pulling this from Collider right now. New type of birthing pod to gestate Adam, who is a warrior more capable of destroying the Guardians of the Galaxy. Yep. So, from what I understand, it's supposed to be the Guardians of the Galaxy's like big foe, big arch nemesis.
Yeah, super villain.
He was most prominent in
Jesus Christ Superstar.
No, he was introduced in Messiah Superman inspired by Jesus Christ Superstar. But he's an incredibly powerful cosmic being, commonly associated with Gamora. And here's the most interesting part, is that at one time he held all the Infinity Stones and defeated Thanos and held all the Infinity Stones, which is what Infinity War was going to be about, what it's all been building up to.
Yeah.
Is a war for the Infinity Stones. So this is a guy that's possibly more powerful than Thanos. So, are we going to see Adam and Thanos team up against Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers to create like one giant ass foe?
Which would be fucking insane.
Or are we going to see Adam somehow turn and help the Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy defeat Thanos?
No, I think your first angle's right. I definitely think that's the way to do it. The other one I would say is a possibility is you see two stories build into one. Mm-hmm. Two mini-stories built into one in Infinity War, with Guardians of the Galaxy having to deal with Adam and then basically getting rid of him for a temporary time to team up against Thanos there with the Avengers, and the Avengers dealing with Thanos but needing help, and then them teaming up there. The Adam and Thanos duo works, but the Adam for partially in the movie works because then that still leaves him there for a Guardians of the Galaxy 3 movie where they can visit that better, I think. So that's one angle I think was probably more likely. But one thing I do want to say about the movie is, and you mentioned a little bit the 80s aspect, I thought the soundtrack for the movie was fucking awesome. On point. On point. And these are not, like, some of these
Same with the first movie.
like, these
that
are
was one
bigger,
of my pros for the first movie,
these
the
are
soundtrack.
bigger 80s songs, but I'm talking, like, they aren't top of the line, like, 80s music, but they are just the way that they fit perfectly, and it showed a motivation, it showed, like, it really worked into the story.
Not who only scored the movie, but who picked the soundtrack out.
Right. It worked into the story and the motivation of the movie, and I really like that aspect. I enjoyed the parts where the music was playing. I think I enjoyed those scenes kind of the best of all of them. So I really like that portion.
And then I think what put this movie a little over the edge for me as far as how much I actually ended up liking it was the story arc with now I'm forgetting his name.
Yondu?
James Gunn's character, Yondu. Where he was exiled from the Ravengers, and he basically redeemed himself.
There was a mutiny with his own team, and
he was a terrible person the first.
He was
one.
a terrible person.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but he redeemed himself, and he ended up sacrificing himself to save Star-Lord.
Yep.
And then the Ravengers all came back and gave
for
him
a Ravager funeral,
and
which
it was really touching thing.
Which
too.
I thought one of the most touching moments in the movie was that, and also the relationship where you saw happen in literally a 2-minute scene between Rocket and Yondu when they realize that they're basically the same person essentially, where they're both that dynamic right there was probably the best relationship in the movie.
That's what I'm saying. This movie is heavy on the characters, which a lot of people are faulting this movie for, and I'm loving this movie.
I actually love it. I actually love that aspect. But that portion right there, I thought the fact that they were able to build a deep relationship between two characters that really aren't deep on the surface but are within was fantastic. And the fact that they could do it in 2 minutes was even better. And it really makes you feel bad for Rocket at the end, because that literally immediately almost became like a brother to him, because they are the same person essentially. And by the end of the movie, you see him crying in Yondu's death, which I thought was, I wanted to see it. I loved it and I hated it at the same time, because I loved it because it was a perfect way to do it. I hated it because I want to see more of the relationship build. But I think it's a good portion there. I think we got enough of it. I think it allowed us to look into Rocket more and build his character more, which I thought was, it works for me. So I'm not going to fault them for it. I'm going to applaud them 100% with that.
All right. Unless you don't have anything to add, I want to close out with this. Funniest part of the movie for you?
I don't know. There were so many, honestly. I'd have to watch it again to
I
pick
have two
one.
that stand out to me.
I'd have to watch it again to pick one.
Was the part where Baby Groot was trying to find Yondu's little fin?
Yes.
That, and bring a bunch of random ass shit.
Yes, that part was hilarious.
And then, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
that was a great fucking line. I'm not gonna lie, that was a great line. One of the a scene that really I thought made the whole theater laugh out loud insanely was when they were jumping 600 times through to get to Ego, and the distortion of their faces. I thought that was hilarious. The fact that they did it a second time, I thought didn't work as well, but the first time they did it was fucking fun.
At least they didn't do it 3 times. Rule of 3.
Yeah, rule of 3.
Actually, no, rule of 3 would have been 3 times your max. But
but I thought 1 was their max there, and they did it a second time. It didn't hit as strong, but the first time it hit hard.
Still got a laugh out of me.
It did, but now nowhere near as big. The first time was fucking hilarious.
They should have done something a little new. They could have done a distortion, but added something else to it.
They definitely should have changed it. But honestly, Groot was a great fucking character. Drax was a great character. I thought a lot of the dynamic between him and Mantis was awesome. The jokes there, the naiveness of Mantis, and the simpleness of Drax worked really well, and just that aspect was fun. But overall, I liked the movie. It was entertaining. It was funny. It was good. I want to see the first one again just because of that, and it makes me look a little bit more towards Avengers Infinity War. I just feel like it was another step.
After this, I might actually go back and buy both of these now.
Maybe, yeah. It adds to it. See, this movie adds to another step to Infinity War, which makes me a little bit more excited about it.
Like this is what anything I want out of a sequel that elevates the first one.
Yes, it does. So
anyway,
definitely good.
That about concludes our thoughts for Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
That actually ends our show as well. well.
Like we promised, wasn't as long as Fate of the Furious.
Yeah, it wasn't as long. Still a little bit long, but not as bad. But again, guys.
Well, when you're combining a spoiler and non-spoiler review, I
Yes,
think
but
it's a perfect.
again, guys, thank you so much for coming out again tonight. We'd love to see you back again soon. Rexify, if you guys want to do an interview, please hit us up.
Hit us
We'd be
up.
totally down to do a live interview with you. So definitely down with that.
Even if you want to do it in the chat. Like,
If you want to do it in the chat, please do also. But I wish we were prepared for it tonight, but we weren't. But we will be in the future, so we will look for that. But again, guys, thank you so much for coming out. If you like what you saw tonight, please feel free to hit the follow button down below. And hit us up on Twitter. You got topics. You got a movie you want us to review. You got whatever. At Real Fan Report there. You can also like us on Facebook at Real Fan Report as well. So I hope you guys had a good time. We did. This has been the Fan Report where it's by fans.
For fans.
As always, thanks again, guys. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Have a beer, have a margarita, hang out, whatever.
We
Happy.
close
You know
out
what?
Cinco
It's
de
not
Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo till you go to bed. It's not end of Cinco de Mayo till you go to bed. So, anyways, if you do the bets at the Kentucky Derby tomorrow, good luck to you, good luck to me, good luck to him, good luck to everyone betting. So good, but hope we win. So you guys have a good night.
I'm Andrew. That's Nick.
So you guys peace
See
out.
you mofos on Wednesday.
Peace out, guys.